gentlemen, you're all welcome to this auspicious, august, and memorable occasion. The representative of Ministry of Women Affairs, Dignitary, is here present. I welcome each and every one of you to this occasion once again. I remain my humble self, Citizen Fahad Abdullahi, the incumbent Student Union Government President of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University. My welcoming address will be very brief but pungent. I welcome all other institutions to Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, the bedrock of learning, an institution that is technically ahead of every other institution. It's our utmost pleasure to have universities like ABU Zaria and all other universities here for the regional debate competition organized by LEAP Africa. The theme of the debate competition is very timely. Voices Unmuted, speaking for the Nigeria we want. We all know that at this critical moment, critical situation, Nigeria is, laced with obstinate challenges. And as young individuals, as young persons, we are the torch bearers of the future. The future of Nigeria is heavily laden on our back. It's humped on our back. We have the responsibility of, making Nigeria take a brighter shape. So I use this medium to welcome each and every one of you. I hope all of us would enjoy our stay here, and I hope we would all have an enthralling and enjoyable debate. Once again, I'm calling all the participants to note that at the end of this competition, of course, we would have winners, but then it's very important to note the fact that all of us are winners. We don't have victor, neither do we have a vanquish. All of us are winners in the very end. Let's join our hands together and speak for the Nigeria we want. Thank you very much.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, can you join me as we appreciate this very impactful opening remark by the Student Union Government of the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Next to the order of procedure, it's about the LEAP Africa and NYFFF. Permit me to invite Ms. Ijo Makalu, who is a program coordinator, LEAP Africa, in order to give us the insight about this. A round of applause, please, as we welcome her. Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Great Nigerian students, great Balewites. Good morning, everyone. I'm standing here not just as myself. I'm standing representing the Board of Directors, LEAP Africa, and the Executive Director of LEAP Africa, and the Board of the Nigeria Youth Futures Fund, and the Director for the Nigeria Youth Futures Fund. I'm going to let you all know what we are about. I'm sure you've heard there's debate, and you're asking, who are these people who have come here to our school or to Bauchi State, and they're making noise about some debates. So LEAP Africa is a 23-year-old organization. We have been around for a very long time now, and our mandate is to raise ethical leaders for the Nigeria that we want to see, for the Africa that we want to see. We want to raise dynamic, ethical, professional leaders among the youth. How many of us believe that the youth are the leaders of today? We're not just the leaders of tomorrow, we are the leaders of today. And we must continue to receive the right training to be the leaders, to change things, to change the narratives or the bad narratives that we have about Nigeria. And I'll tell you why the Nigeria Youth Futures Fund as a fund was created. How many of us remember the NSAS movement? Some of us have amnesia in the room. How many of us remember the NSAS movement? We saw a lot of action by young people in Nigeria. We came out in one voice to say we don't want this, we don't want this. Then the question arose, what is it that you want? And we could not answer that question well anymore. When young people were being called into the rooms to say, let's meet policymakers, what is it exactly that we want? We could no longer speak. So the mandate of Leap Africa through the NYFF is to train young people to say, this is what we want. To train young people to meet the policymakers and say, this is what we want. And that is why our tagline is, the Nigeria we want. And that is just a way to introduce who Leap Africa is and what the NYFF is. And of course, we are here today under the auspices of the Youth Leadership Development Program, which is a subsect of NYFF that is directly pointed at students in tertiary institutions. We have other initiatives, but this one is for tertiary institution students. And that is where we have the debates. So today you're going to be hearing topics about trending issues that are currently maybe in conversations in the Senate, in the House of Representatives, that young people are not really listening to, or young people don't know what is going on. These debaters are going to educate you on what is going on and help you to start forming your opinion, so that when next you are on the street and someone asks you, what are we talking about here, you will be able to say it. So today, I want to remind you, our theme is Voices Unmuted, Speaking for the Nigeria We Want. If you don't take anything out of this gathering, when you leave here, ask yourself, how can I speak for the Nigeria I want to see? How can I open my mouth, unmute my voice, and speak for the Nigeria we want to see? Without further ado, I would like to invite you to please enjoy and please listen and be educated by the debates that you would hear today. We have in our midst debaters from the Kaduna State University. Please give them a round of applause. We have here debaters from Al Kalam University, Katsina, Usmanu Danfodio University, Sokoto, Bayero University, Kano, Umar Musa Yaradua University, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi. And it might interest you to know that we have two teams from the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. The reason that is so is that there were too many good submissions from ABU, we could not make a choice. So we are here inviting even the judges to help us to make a choice who would continue, if they would continue to the next rounds from ABU. I also want to use this opportunity to say thank you to our judges, some of us are meeting for the first time this morning. So select for us who would be recognized as the top 3 representing the Northeast and Northwest. After today, we will not be saying we have a winner or not. We'll just know whose scores are the highest, because we are expecting the regional rounds for the Southwest, North Central, Southeast, South. When we have all those high scores and we compute who has the highest score, we will then go to the semifinals and then the finals. So I urge you to continue to look out for these debates. We are live on YouTube and Facebook, so you continue to follow us at Leap Africa on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, wherever you get your information from on social media. Please continue to look out for us. We will announce the next rounds so that you can continue to support these people who are representing you from the Northeast and Northwest till they make it to the finals. Great Nigerian students, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate her once again. Thank you very much. Thank you for this highlight on the Leap Africa. And this constitutes everything about what makes us to be here today. So may I have the pleasure to invite one of us a public speaker, no other person but Ambassador Jane. A round of applause, please. She's going to a testimonial from the past youth leadership debates participation. A round of applause for her, please.
I was asked to give a speech on a testimony, right, from the Youth Leadership Development Program. I know you don't really want to hear a story, but I'm going to tell you anyways. Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, good morning. My name is Jane Manifyong, and I'll just be here to share my testimony, my story. I registered, or rather, I would say I saw the YLDP, for short, program in the year 2023. Then I was still maybe 300 level. I can't really remember exactly. And well, I registered, I got in, but I couldn't do it because of my device then. You know now, network, we need to do virtual classes. So that year passed. Last year, I also registered again. I got in, and it has been an amazing journey so far. This year, I'm standing here as an ATBU campus ambassador for the Youth Leadership Development Program. But I'll share how the journey has been for me. Last year, we had virtual sessions, and then we had live sessions, and you're trained on so many things, from public speaking to budgeting to grant writing to proposal writing, and you're trained on just everything about building your capacity as a leader. We had virtual sessions from various amazing people that you know you will probably never meet one-on-one, but we're getting insights from them, from the classes that was put together. Lovely. It was very, very beautiful. One of those, I can remember I was leading a project. We're mentoring 100 girls in Sabonkara, thereabouts. And at that point in my life last year, I was exhausted because there was a lot going on with that project. And then I just sat down, was watching one of the virtual sessions. And on that session, I think it was Hamza Lawal, the Executive Director of Connected Development, that was taking that session on, was he advocacy and campaign? And I sat down with one of my team members and we watched that video together. That was all we needed at that point. I can tell you that throughout that project I was doing last year, and throughout other leadership, things or events or programs that I've learned from, YLDP was a major from leadership workshop, advocating for inclusive leadership within the student union government, leadership within the student union government, and within the general leadership structure of ATBU. And I believe it's possible, right? Is it possible? Thank you very much. I know all of us have said it's a lot of stories, but I would like to say this. Leadership does not necessarily have to start when you are on a platform like this. Leadership is very small. Leadership could mean, and maybe you hear it from the debaters, maybe. Leadership could mean, just seeing the running water in your hostel, maybe a pipe or a tap broke, and you went to meet your matron or called someone to say, can we fix this? There was a day in ATB, I saw a bike man literally fixing a bump in the road, because anytime bikes pass, they go down. It just creates it was a pothole. Pass, they go down. It just creates it was a pothole and all of that. And after so many times, we all kept observing. But that day I was passing, I saw he on the road, and everybody was just walking past. This is a water supply to the entire community, and nobody was doing anything about it. So I'd like to tell you that leadership is not necessarily when you're holding a big position. Every single person in this hall is a leader. Every single one of you, you are a leader. And I know I was not here to give a motivational speech. Nigeria we don't want to hear motivational speech, right? Please don't beat me. Forgive me. Thank you very much. But you should know that if we are also to make Nigeria better, you need to step up as a leader. Thank you very much. Again, my name is Jane Manifyong.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. A round of applause. Thank you for this wonderful remark and submission. That simply means leadership would always be a process of submitting value or bringing a positive difference in the community and the society in which we live. You must not necessarily be emerged in a ruling position to submit impact of leadership. A round of applause once again, please. Thank you so very much, Ms. Jane Manifyong, for that sharing. We have a lot of things. The feature of what today holds have a lot. I would like to ask this question. Any of the audience that happen to be the person that got it right will be awarded a particular gift. Okay? The question goes, which institution do you think are going to ATBU Bauchi? Sorry, you? Be audible. Udus, Umar Musa Arado University. A round of applause. That's what he says. In case if they emerge, you have a gift from me, prepared by the Leap Africa team. A round of applause, please. I would like to have from the female, please. 2. Let me take you. Ebi Uzaria. A round of applause for her. If they emerge the winner, you come. There is a special gift for you. Let me take from the side. Female, you over there. Be audible. Bayero University. A round of applause for her, please. If they emerge the winner of this, or they emerge among the winner, among those first 3, you have a gift specially meant for you by the Leap Africa, please. Thank you very much. In this particular time, as part of the item of the agenda, we have the goodwill message from the Commissioner of Education, ably represented by, sorry, there is a substitute here. We would like to call on the chairman, BASNEC, that is Bauchi State Network of Civil Society, to give us insight out of this as regard to the goodwill message to this program. Please, a round of applause for him, please, as we invite Mr. Jinjiri Garba to give us that. A round of applause, please. A round of applause as we welcome him on stage, please.
Hello, Nigerian students. Can I say good morning? Permit me to stand on the existing protocol. I just have to appreciate Lead Africa. Our what? Our youth, isn't it? I am from the civil society what? Space, isn't it? So that is Bauchi State Network of Civil Society Organization, representing all the civil society in the state. And we, the civil society organization, Nigerians and our people used to at least give us a tag that we are always what? Troublemakers, isn't it? Just because we are telling them the what? The right thing to do, isn't it? And we want our students to at least follow suit. When you see something, say something, isn't it? If you remain silent, then you are part of the problem, isn't it? And let the change begin with what? With me. Let the change begin with what? You. So what I want to at least advise today, if you are living, we should not be saying anything negatively against our country. Isn't it? We should be saying something positively against our what? Our country. You will never see a white person condemning his what? Isn't it? But we are in the train of castigating our country, even condemning the future of this country. You will see some people, they will say, you are saying youth are leaders of tomorrow. But where are they? Then you yourself have condemned yourself because you are twice defeated in the race of what? Life. Isn't it? Be positive in anything you are going to do. Then the Almighty God will what? Bless you and work with you. Isn't it? So in all you are going to do, don't condemn your country. Say good about your what? About your country. What you are saying about your country will surely come to what? To pass. But if you are saying youth are being denied, this and that, you would keep on being denied. Isn't it? So let us be positive in what we are doing. We are very used to we have talented people. When you go to Europe, most of the areas that are people that are outstanding there are Nigerians. Isn't it? But why are they leaving our country, going there to exploit? Because we don't have that what? Isn't it? So we are to create the environment to ourselves. We are to create what? The last speaker happened to say what youth did previously, isn't it? And when they were asked questions, they lack answers. Isn't it? Our leaders will keep on you, throw him off. That money you collected, it is part of you, throw him off. That money you collected, it is part of your national cake. But don't say you are not going to collect it. If you don't collect it, you are losing you. Isn't it? There are some of our leaders that after the election, you will never see them again. Isn't it? So what we want now is we want somebody that is going to put something on the table. Not somebody that will go and be investing in Dubai. Not in Nigeria. So I will use this medium to say, we, the civil society organization, we are always out, despite the threat from all angles. But we always used to go out to tell you, this is the gap you have. We are not challenging you, but we are telling you the gap you have. If you are going to amend it, it's going to be better for the society. So all we want is that we are going to be in the same page with you. I commend the student of ATBU because you will see them up and doing. They have been developing our young men in our rural areas and other places. To go on doing more, isn't it? You are not here just on an academic, but you are here to expose yourself so that even after you are what? Academic, you are going to be useful to what? To your society. Some people cannot even speak publicly, but by the time they join, they will be what? Groomed. They will be trained. Isn't it? Don't confine yourself within the university campus. Confine yourself to be useful to your community. Isn't it? So that after ATBU, you will be useful to the larger society. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. And we pray for the competitors that God is going to bless them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we appreciate him once again? Appreciate him for the wonderful Goodwill message. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to seek your indulgence as I acknowledge the presence of certain dignitaries that come in as the program was going on. May I take this time to acknowledge the presence of the representative of the National Orientation Agency, Mr. and Mrs. Hyde, Mr. A round of applause for him, please. May I also take this time to acknowledge the presence of the neighboring institutions of learning that consider it a fit to be in participation of today's program. We have Abubakar Tatari Ali Polytechnic. A round of applause for them, please. We also have Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Teaching Hospital, School of Nursing Sciences. A round of applause for them, please. May I also introduce the presence of the Bauchi State College of Agriculture. A round of applause for them, please. Today's submission as a tournament, that is the argument. Thank you, please. A representative from the National Orientation Agency before the judges for gathering here today. A round of applause, please. I would like you to be feeding me with the names of the dignitaries that are here present. And thank you very much.
Yes. Great Nigerian student. Great Nigerian student. I want to say, I want to explain. I want silence, please. Yeah. So I'm really happy when I get the invitation that I'm going to represent my director from National Orientation Agency, who is now in another official. Definitely, this particular competition or debate organized by the Lead Africa is in the right time. The reason is this: come together, you can collaborate with National Orientation Agency because they can do many things in government aspect. So actually, I thank you for the Lead Africa for this organizing this debate that are going to groom our young leaders to become the wonderful leaders that are going to actually shun away from any violence, any unuseful things that happening ideas. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. A round of applause, please, for this submission. Thank you very much, representative from National Orientation Agency. May I use this avenue to introduce Ambassador Maimuna as my co-host. Please, a round of applause for her, please. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to give her the opportunity in order to make submission in regard to this. She's my co-host. We'll be working together. But before then, I would like to call on the judges in order to give us rules of engagement before then. A round of applause, please, as we give them this venue. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Thank you. I'll be speaking like a teacher. So when I speak, I expect to see a response. Standing before you, I know most of you know me. Go back, Abani. But I'd like to introduce myself standing within this space again. My name is Architect Sadia Ilyasu. I've been invited here. I've been invited here to serve as a judge, as a lecturer, as a teacher, as a mother, as a leader who is passionate about lifting the youth and speaking appropriately. So you should expect that while we are here with my colleagues, we are going to do justice. And it is in supporting the youth on muting the voices of speaking appropriately and truthfully. So, without taking much of our time, our debaters should please take note of these rules that I intend to read. What's doing this phone now? Turn now. So, we have our teams that have been randomly paired against each other from various institutions that have been mentioned earlier. I can see there was a little bit of sentiment when ATB was mentioned. The applause was different. It's okay. ATB, you no go fold their hand, though. Okay. You are expected. What is doing this phone now? Okay. As a debater, once you're up here, please, the first proposition should know that you have just 5 minutes. The second opposition should also know you have 5 minutes. The first opposition again is also 5 minutes. Second proposition is 3 minutes. Second opposition, 3 minutes. And then closing statement, 1 minute for both. So once you're up here, you are expected to quickly introduce the motion. You define your key terms. You set your burdens. You establish your mechanisms, your models where needed. You offer substantive arguments. Don't come and be telling us stories. While you're here, you quickly deal with proposed framework by opposition, the opposition party. You clash with your opposition with arguments. You offer your own substantive arguments constructively. You also clash, as I said, your arguments and defend your speaker's points. Whichever point you have presented, you defend it appropriately. Then in the last round, you crystallize the round in summary. So when you receive a signal, know that your time has elapsed, and you'll be given just 5 to 10 seconds to end your sentence or your point, and whatever it is you say will not be counted against your team's favor, and it might attract a deduction in scores. So when you are being told time up, please time up. While we're here, we are going to do this socially and offer penalties where necessary. So both teams should know that you'll be penalized when you fail to adhere to the ground rules of engagement, which are, number 1, inappropriate conduct. Number 2, objectionable language. Number 3, severe personal attack on any debater. Number 4, falsified evidence, proven false by opponents. And then any irrelevancy will be penalized. You should know that we will not take it lightly with unfair tactics, and if you pretend to be unfamiliar with our rules, we will not forget to take note of that. So with this, I'd like to wish us all here a successful debate as we come up the stage to make use of the judicious time in defending whichever topic we're being given to, and hope that we wrap up in good time. So, great Nigerian students, I wish us a very good journey.
Thank you very much, our incorruptible judges. It's such a delight to be standing here before you. I'd like to take the moment to first say a big welcome to the representative of the Vice Chancellor in person of Professor S.Y. Umar, who also doubles as the Dean Student Affairs. Thank you very much, sir. We're very happy to be here, and on behalf of the Board of Directors, LEAP Africa, we say a big thank you, and we bring warm greetings to you. Thank you. We have had an excellent time since we arrived. So we'll move straight into the program of events, which is the introduction of our debaters. we're heading straight into the first round, which is our debaters are going to be debating on the topic, Nigeria should prioritize BRICS over Western alliance in its foreign economic diplomacy. And the institutions that will be debating on these topics are the Kaduna State University, also known as the Team Visionaries, and the Al-Qalam University Katsina, also known as the Voice on Stage. Please permit me to introduce the debaters. We have Princess Vanessa Emmanuel, representing Kaduna State University. Aisha Yahya Ibrahim is also representing Kaduna State University. Okay, from Al-Qalam University, we have Muazu Idris Zakaria and Asma Yahya Mustafa. So please make way with a huge round of applause for our first speaker from Kaduna State University, in person of Aisha Yahya Ibrahim. Again, don't forget the rules of engagement. You have 5 minutes to make your points. All the best.
In a few minutes from now, the opposition team will come up here to tell us how the Western alliances has done this and that, perhaps even presenting some convincing data and evidences. And I tell you, they are right. But have these alliances interfere in our economic independence as a sovereign nation? This is a question that every concerned Nigeria in this room today should ask his or herself. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, honorable judges, my name is Aisha Yahya Ibrahim, representing the prestigious Kaduna State University, and I stand before you to support the motion that states Nigeria should prioritize BRICS over Western alliances for its foreign economic diplomacy. Now, for the sake of clarity, this motion is not calling for cutoff of the West, but rather for Nigeria to shift priority to a bloc that represents the future of global emerging economy. And I tell you without a doubt, that bloc is BRICS. I'm sure many of you have this question on your mind. What exactly is even this BRICS I've been calling? BRICS refers to intergovernmental organization consisting 11 countries, among which we have Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, in the course of this argument, I will prove to you that BRICS offers greater opportunity, fairer partnership, and a more balanced global order than Nigeria should embrace. Firstly, BRICS offer infrastructure without unfair condition. And what does Western alliances do? You see, Western loans often tied to alliances such as IMF and World Bank typically comes with heavy conditions. Now, I want to take us back a little. During the regime of General Babangida, these reforms were disguised under the Structural Adjustment Program, also known as SAP. Shortly after then, these conditions were rebranded as reforms or recommendation by Western institutions such as IMF. But then, the question is, what are even these conditions in the first place? These conditions include devaluation of the Naira, removal of the fuel subsidy, and privatization and commercialization of public enterprises. Now,
they've come to tell us, yes, these are our conditions. And we see these conditions. We tell you that, no, these conditions are outrageous and we do not want. Then you look for a coded way to impose this condition on us. I'm very sure that is not so nice. And this has been the fate of Nigeria over the years. However, the adoption of these reforms in Nigeria as at then triggered increase in poverty, where poverty rose from 27.2% to 42.7% from 1980 to 1992, according from data from National Bureau of Statistics. Although Nigeria rejected these conditions, but still adopted these SAP principles that IMF conditions still strongly have influence on. Whatever team you choose to support today, I tell you, Nigeria as a nation is counting down to its 65 years of independence. And ever since we got this independence, we've been in this same partnership with the Western alliances. And the question is, what is even the essence of this partnership in the first place? As a nation, we acknowledge that we have challenges. We have strong economic challenges. And that is the reason for this partnership in the first place. But the question I have for you is, has these alliances, has this partnership been able to solve our economic challenges? The answer is no. So if it has not been able to improve our challenges in any way, why should we continue doing the same thing over and over again? So whatever you decide to believe, or whichever side you choose to support today, thank you.
Thank you very much, Aisha. Aisha has actually made her point. Judges, do we want to hear from you, or do we take the next? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Please, a quick announcement. When the debaters are making their points and, a specific point interests you, we urge you to please just snap your fingers so we do not distract them and just take time from what we've allotted to them. But thank you very much. Please permit me to welcome the first speaker from Al-Qalam University to please come on stage.
Foreign policy, as the well-known Hans Mertingale said, is the pursuit of national interests by a nation in relations with others. And national interest, distinguished judges, ladies and gentlemen, is not just a slogan. It is the heartbeat of a shared prosperity, safety, and dignity. So today I ask, what have we gained? One fact remains clear and undisputable. Nigeria has benefited immensely from the West. Yes, Nigeria, with the Western alliances, remains Nigeria's biggest and most reputable export markets. A market that keeps all revenues flowing and helps our economy stay strong, even when everything else clashes. BRICS, by its typical definition, is an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, referring to a bloc and a global South coalition aimed at challenging Western-dominated financial institutions and claim to promote South-South cooperation, yet like a patchwork sewn from clashing fabrics. BRICS has many contradictions that has put it in different unsteady directions. In contrast, The Western alliances, the European Union, the United States, and their institutions are not perfect either, but they are the old established base of predictable and proven effective trade, sound partnership, and trusted finance. Honorable judges, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am Asma Yahya Mustafa from Al-Qalam University, Katsina. Today, as the first speaker for the opposition, I rise with a conviction that Nigeria should not prioritize BRIC over Western alliances in its foreign economic diplomacy. Ladies and gentlemen, doing so will mean to trade our stable bridges for unstable supports, thereby risking our national interest for a gamble that history has already warned us about. Firstly, let's look at the clear fact on trade, because trade is one of the most crucial sectors in every developing country, such as Nigeria. From 2022 to date, Nigeria's biggest partners were still mostly in the Western world. According to Eurostat, the European Union alone made up to 29 billion euros in trade volume, making it our top export destination. The Western states, likewise, remains our most significant exporter of crude oil, a sector that contributes over 85% of Nigeria's aiming in exports. And this sustains millions of livelihoods. Now, let's look at our so-called alternative. That is the BRICS. Trade with China, the strongest BRICS member, with $20 billion. But there is a shocking imbalance in that $18.9 billion is calculated in imports, and that is in China's favor, while just 2.43 is calculated in exports, and that is in Nigeria's favor. Can you imagine? So I ask, honorable judges, who is really benefiting here? Are we enriching and developing our country, or we are just enriching them? Moreover, our trade with other BRICS members echoes the same noise. Trade with Russia, Brazil, and China barely exceeds $5 million all combined. This is not a relationship of equals. It is, by all measures, a lopsided relationship. Secondly, let's reflect on the dangers of relying too much on BRICS funding and loans. It argues that BRICS is a kind alternative, but the fact tells a different story. For example, China's Belt and Road initiatives have trapped many nations in unclear debts and forced them to hand over important assets. You can subject that to scrutiny. For example, in 2018, African Liberty reported that Zambia and China were discussing the possible transfer of Zambia's national electricity company, ZESCO, due to unstable debt payments. This is a loss, not just of sovereignty and property, but of national pride, freedom, and dignity. Is this what we want for Nigeria? On the other hand, when it comes to debt relief, the West has a much better record. In June 2008, when the G8 met in Gleneagles under the chancellorship of Gordon Brown, the finance ministers agreed to cancel $40 billion of debt owed by 18 heavily indebted countries. For example, for Nigeria specifically, the Paris Club Agreement in June 2005 let us pay 12...
Sorry. I think we eat a lot into their time and cause a lot of disorientation when we keep clapping in between points. So we have to be patient. No matter how impressed we are, we can just do something like this instead of clapping, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our impartial panel of judges. And that was the first speaker from Al-Qalam University. Before we call on the second speakers from each of the teams, we would like to acknowledge the presence of Ms. Briska Joram, who is the Executive Secretary, Network of Persons Living with Disability, Bauchi. You're most welcome, ma. Agency, oh, okay. Thank you very much for coming, ma. We're very happy to have you. So, judges, now or the next round?
Our understanding is we're bringing in the second
Oh,
speaker.
I see. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So the next debaters to come on stage is the second speaker from Kaduna State University. Please, a round of applause for her, and then we wait for her to make her points before we clap. Thank you.
Please remember you have 3 minutes.
Attentive audience, honorable judges, my opponent just said, according to her, what did she even say? Let's check it very well. She said, old established ways of partnership, and to her, we should trust it. But ladies and gentlemen, that is a logical fallacy. That is a fallacy we call chronological snobbery fallacy, implying that we should stick to old ways because they have done what and what. Ladies and gentlemen, the fact still remain. Nigeria has just 0.52% influence in International Monetary Fund and even in World Bank. How can we change our policy? How can we change inflation? How can we affect issues that are bothering us when we have just 0.52% in these international bodies? And guess what? They have veto power, meaning that they can override our judgment. And you are saying we should still align with them? I guess that's not the right answer. According to, she said death traps. But ladies and gentlemen, that is a myth. Death traps indeed are not, they are not, China denied it clear and flat. Publications from Johns Hopkins said that he has not seen any death traps, and this is a man who has publicized a lot of trustworthy journals. Ladies and gentlemen, we say, my position here is that BRICS should be prioritized because BRICS offers us a platform where we can share our products with even all our southern states. Nigeria is able to share its products. Nigeria is able to communicate and expand its reach to other places. Now, in what way? BRICS, she said, according to her, Western alliances have biggest platforms, but let me tell you, biggest economic, what did she say? Let's go back. She said biggest economic export, but what do we export? According to the National Bureau of Statistics, we export our oils. The top five Western countries make us to export our oils to them. Ladies and gentlemen, that is definitely a trap that Western alliances have kept us. For how many years are we going to keep going around this circle? We need to come out and go with a thriving economy, and that is BRICS. Ladies and gentlemen, what has BRICS offered us? They are giving us technology. They've empowered our nation. Over 150 Nigerians were being trained when China were developing the Lagos to Ibadan railway. BRICS have offered us platforms by allowing, our Nigerian government made it that it was only 550 hired workers that were there. Thank you very much.
That was the second speaker from Kaduna State University. Indeed, the voices have been unmuted for the Nigeria we want. Please, let's make a round of applause for the second speaker, Al-Qalam University. Let's not forget the rules.
Let me begin by saying the reality of international relations is that there can neither be permanent friends nor permanent enemies, only permanent interests. distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, respected judges. From the opposing side, I am Muaz Idris Zakaria from Al-Qalam University, Katsina. After carefully listening to my opponents, I have realized and understood that their strongest argument is that the West have exploited Africa. But there are 4 things missing from their perspective. Firstly, BRICS is not free of exploitation, as China have exploited a lot of African countries. For instance, Tanzania, Sri Lanka, and even Kenya. Their loans came with debt that can lead a nation to get bankrupt. Secondly, Nigeria's foreign policy is not guided by revenge or emotion. It is guided by national interest. Strategic partnerships are much more important than historical grievances. Moreover, our foreign policy principle of non-alignment clearly means that we should not align ourselves with any bloc that present or reflect hierarchies or hidden power play, which is clear in terms of BRICS. Finally, this is not about the South or the West. This is about balanced mutual benefits. Changing or replacing China, BRICS, with the West, or the West with BRICS, will not erase the exploitation that is happening. It will only replace one exploiter with another. Another pillar of their argument is the economic advantage of BRICS. But let's look closely. The economic advantages that we are seeing today are really one-sided. Looking at China, trades are largely coming from there to Nigeria. They are exporting, always benefiting from us. And we are not benefiting as much. Moreover, our foreign policy shouldn't be reactive. It should be strategic. Nigeria should maintain its stance on non-alignment and choose case-to-case cooperation rather than allegiance to a bloc. Finally, they capitalize on BRICS as a rising economy. But when we analyze the general nations within BRICS, we will understand that they do not have a unified economic agenda. BRICS do not have a unified and clear integration policy that will benefit our economy. But the West are having far more economic agendas and clear policies that we can benefit from. Nigeria needs stability. As BRICS...
Time up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was a very impressive, both arguments really were very impressive. So before we call the speakers from each of the teams to round up their arguments, we'd like to also acknowledge the presence of Dr. Shitu Ibrahim, who is the patron ATBU Debaters Club, and also representative of the Honorable Commissioner for Higher Education. You're most welcome, and we're very excited to have you. So moving on, I would like to call on representative of Kaduna State University to come on stage and wrap up their arguments in 1 minute. 1 minute. The time is ticking.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the first speaker mentioned that, or rather, she claimed that Nigeria has benefited a lot from Western world, and I agree with her. But then, the problem is our economy, which is the key subject matter of today. Has it improved our economy in any way? What has changed? As a matter of fact, the pressure is getting worse, and that you can agree with me. Our stand remains. If you don't try something new, how would you know the potentials? The Western partnership that we've been with for the past 60 years of independence as a nation has not been able to solve our problems, our economic problems, all these years. Is it now that they will be able to do that? I don't think so. Well, I don't know about you. But then I tell you, what if I tell you that Nigeria's trade with BRICS has
Representative of Al-Qalam University, please make way to the stage. Also to note that your time does not start until you have the mic in your hands. So very quickly, crystallize your points in 1 minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, respected judges, let me begin by reminding us what happens to the African Union headquarters that was built by China. It was later discovered that China was spying and sending information from the servers that brought us to Africa. Do we want alliances like that? No, we do not. Nigeria, as our nation, our foreign policies should reflect our people. It should be independent, Afrocentric, and also bold. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we realize and we think that Nigeria should not prioritize BRIC or prioritize the West.
Using up to your 1 minute. At this point, we'll give the judges some time. Do you need some time to aggregate your points or? Okay, feedback. Okay. All right, so let's hear from the judges. If you need some time, really, we can, and then take other items on the agenda.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Oh, sorry, good afternoon. Yeah, I would just like the debaters to know so that other debaters who would come forward would understand. So in motions like this, where you want to prioritize one thing over the other, you want to do a comparison of what you want to prioritize. So you want to show us why the alternative is better than what we already have in status quo. You can't keep telling us that something is bad and you don't show us how that alternative that you are preferring is better than what is bad. So next other debaters or other debaters who would come up, please make sure you take into cognizance, argumentations like that. Thank you very much.
Okay, I would like to say well done to all the speakers. You've done very excellent. Yeah, so, and again, just so everybody gets to see my face, yeah? All right, so I'd like to say that we have had, I'll make some observations, yeah? And they are going to be a little direct, yet constructive. So we have had points. You need to know that we take note of points. You also need to know that we take note of rebuttals and facts. So as you're saying the figures, we're checking them to make sure that they are not just facts from your head. Is that right? Yes, and again, I think we would also like to state it for the record, especially for the benefit of those who are yet to speak, that we have a criteria. And I'll assert them again. I'll say them again so that you remember. Yeah? So one, we have organization, we have use of arguments, we have use of rebuttals, use of language, before we can now weigh the overall presentation that you're giving. Yeah? So it is important we look at you from your dressing to the way that you interact with the people and to the way that you maintain eye contact, and to the way that your points are not overlapping. We need to know when you're done with one point and going into the next point. Yeah, and the use of statistics, very important, I must say. And overall, Well done once again. So that will be all.
Thank you very much for the feedback, and I hope the debaters have taken notes of this. This is really an opportunity for other institutions who haven't come on stage. So moving on to the next item on the agenda, would like to call on the representative of the Vice Chancellor to please come on the stage. Our able Dean of Student Affairs, we're itching to have the message from the Vice Chancellor of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University. A round of applause, please. A round of applause again. You know, he is wearing the hat of the VC and the Dean of Student Affairs.
Chiruwensi capacity Rikadu. There are three fundamental articulators, both are for our father and the Dean Student Affairs of this prestigious institution. Both, the Hausa. The Larabchi. The Yerubanchi. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Of the greatest Nigerian students, of the greatest Balewites, of the greatest Abusites. Well, that of Sokoto, I don't know. You know, I graduated from ABU, so I know ABU is Abusites. Al-Qalam, I don't know, but you are all welcome. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Vice Chancellor of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, in person of Professor I.H. Garba, request that I should represent him at occasion. And the Vice Chancellor is having a lot of engagements this morning, and that is why he is not here with us. We will have loved him, because this exercise we are doing is very, very dear to him and to the University Governing Council. Well, I have drafted a speech to be delivered, even though I am not the Vice Chancellor, but I'm standing in for him. So probably the VC will have done justice to the speech better than I do, but I will try my best to deliver the Vice Chancellor's message to this very important gathering. The Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Women Affairs, Bauchi State, ably represented, I suppose, the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Trade, Commerce and Investment, also Bauchi State, the Commissioner of Higher Education, and the Director General, SDGs, Bauchi State, the Director, National Orientation Agency, Bauchi, ably represented, the program manager, United Nations Population Fund, Bauchi State, the ES, Agency of Persons with Disabilities, the chairman, Bauchi State Network of Civil Society Organizations, distinguished representatives of LEAP Africa, leadership of the Student Union Government, SUG ATBU Bauchi, heads and delegates of participating institutions, members of staff of ATBU, our panel of impartial judges, YLDP campus ambassadors under the leadership of Ambassador Rex, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, once more, good afternoon. It is with great honor and pride that I warmly welcome you all to Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, as we host the Northern Regional quarterfinals of the 4th edition of Youth Leadership Debates here in our prestigious 1,000-seater lecture theater. Today marks a significant moment, not only for ATBU, but also for youth engagement and democratic participation in Northern Nigeria. We are delighted to be the host institution for this landmark event, which is giving voice to the next generation of Nigerian leaders. On behalf of the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Management and the entire ATBU community, I welcome the vibrant delegations from Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, Al-Qalam University Katsina, Bayero University Kano, Kaduna State University Kaduna, Umar Musa Yar'Adua University Katsina, and Usman Danfodio University Sokoto, and of course, our proud students who are representing this great university, ATBU Bauchi. We are honored by your presence and applaud your commitment to this important debating competition. The Youth Leadership Debates, organized by the Leadership Effectiveness, Accountability and Professionalism, LEAP Africa, with support from the Nigerian Youth Futures Fund, NYFF, is a platform where young Nigerians are equipped with critical tools, leadership skills, policy understanding, advocacy strategies, and civic consciousness that are necessary for shaping a progressive and inclusive Africa. As a University of Technology, we are fully committed to providing not only academic education, but also civic orientation. We believe strongly that education must go beyond lecture rooms, laboratories, and examination halls. It must prepare young people to be active participants in the governance and transformation of their communities and the country at large. That is why collaboration between Nigerian universities with LEAP Africa is so dear to us. We have witnessed the impact of your intervention to humanity and the passion you bring to empowering young people. Let me reassure this gathering that ATBU is willing to continue working with LEAP Africa and other youth organizations in promoting leadership, advocacy, civic engagement, and community development among our students. I would also like to use this opportunity to recognize and deeply appreciate the outstanding efforts of the Youth Leadership Development Program, YLDP Campus Ambassadors, ATBU Bauchi, under the leadership of my good friend, Ambassador Rex Stephen Ojechegbe. These young leaders have played a vital role in mobilizing, planning, and coordinating this event, from awareness campaigns to logistics and even the roadshow tagged Voices Unmuted, speaking for Hash the Nigeria we want. Their energy, creativity, and commitment have been remarkable. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, let me once again commend you for your efforts and steadfastness in ensuring that this debate competition is hosted at ATBU. You represent the very best of students' leadership, and I encourage you to service, growth, and civic responsibility. My appreciation to the Student Union Government, ATBU Bauchi, under the leadership of our own city. This event could not have happened without your dedication and unflinching support, your leadership and cooperation with the university management. Now, our vibrant debaters, today is your moment to shine, to present your ideas, to challenge the status quo, to demonstrate your intellect and showcase your leadership potentials with courage, argue with wisdom, and listen with humility. Let these debates stir your curiosity, fuel your convictions.
Ginger at ATBU, but I'm beginning to feel it. So thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much, sir. We're very excited for the potential, the collaboration between this institution, NYFF, and LEAP Africa. Would also like to acknowledge the presence of the representative of National Association. We acknowledge the former student senator in person of Senator Ghosts. I don't know, we have a ghost in our midst. While we're waiting so before we move to the next round, we would like to take a goodwill message from Honorable Priska Joram, who is the Executive Secretary, Agency of Persons with Disability. Please, a resounding round of applause. We truly appreciate your time here, Mommy, and we're excited to also collaborate with you going forward. Please continue with the round of applause.
Great student of Nigeria, you have said all the different tribes, but my sister Sadia, what about the Jarawa one? I can see potential leaders. I can see wonderful leaders of tomorrow. But why I don't
LEAP Africa. This is the second round, and the argument is between Usman Danfodio University. So should be conscious of their timing. Please, you have to stick to the right time allotted for you to submit your argument. Thank you very much.
So we would like to announce that the timer is now right in front of you, so you can be more time conscious. Thank you.
Let's start with this. Every flap, imagine this hand fan is Nigeria's subsidy model. Every flap gives a little breeze, but the moment I stop, the breeze stops. Now this is smart farming. One switch and it cools me for hours without any additional effort from me. You all can see that both are going to give you breeze, but the former makes you walk and sweat while fanning yourself, while the latter works smarter. Just press a button and relax. Both aim to help the farmers, but one demands too much effort for just very little gain, while the other uses modern tools to get better results faster and easier. Ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly the choice before us today. A system that flickers like candle in November Harmattan wind, or one that is built to sustain itself. But before I continue, allow me to salute the brilliance in this room. The honorable panel of adjudicators, the distinguished guests, my intelligent co-debaters, and all my audience listening in. Good day all. My name is Mukhtar Anoze Ishaq from the prestigious Usman Danfodio University, and I'm standing here before you with an unbreakable and unshakable confidence to propose the motion. Before we continue, Let's picture Malam Adamu, a farmer in Kano, that has been farming tomato for years. But yet after every season, he ends up with either too little harvest or too much harvest. It is always fluctuating, it's never constant. You ask why, it is because of climate and market. These two challenges, climate unpredictability and market access, are the very heart of Nigeria's agricultural struggles. And these are exactly what smart farming initiatives are best designed to solve. Today's debate asks us the question, are Nigeria's agricultural challenges best solved by smart farming initiatives or by traditional subsidy models? However, the key terms of today's debate still need clarification. Traditional subsidy, according to Encyclopedia Britannica, is defined as financial support extended by a government to support a public objective. From Wikipedia, smart farming, which is also known as precision agriculture, refers to the integration of modern information and communication technologies, ICTs, digital tools, and automated systems into the agricultural value chain to enhance efficiency, productivity, and sustainability. What today's debate shows us is simple. We are comparing two things: a modern tech-driven problem-solving solution or old government outdated handouts that sometimes they never even make it to the hands that need them. Now let's take the first challenge, climate unpredictability. In 2022 alone, flooding destroyed over 1.4 million hectares of farmland across Nigeria. That's from NEMA. Farmers are planting blindly, and climate change keeps moving the goalposts further away. Today, farmers in Kaduna State are getting real-time weather forecasts using through SMS and FM radio, as access in rural areas to internet is greatly improving. A data presented by PropCom Plus in 2024 shows farmers using this to report 30 to 40% higher yields. To the market access challenge, every harvest season, farmers in Nigeria lose up to 40% of their produce before it even gets sold. This is because they lack the facility to store it or the access to the market on time. With platforms like Cat Agro, Afrimash, Niger Farm Link, farmers are now linked to the buyers before they even plant. A study by IFDC shows that 30% of these subsidized fertilizers do not even make it to the farmers because of the corruption and the politics that have been wrapped in Nigeria. Smart farming gives power to the farmers. It does not wait for government trucks. It connects the farmers directly to the adequate tools without even much knowledge. As smart farming in Nigerian context is not about expensive robotics or Western style agri-tech, but rather what works best for us. Dear all, I have shown you how smart farming helps solve climate unpredictability, prevent spoilage, help us sell smart, and end more. But that's not all. Because all of these things I have listed, traditional subsidy models can never do any of them. We are not even done yet. My teammates will come here and show you how smart farming solve other challenges like access to finance, farm input unavailability, youth disinterest, and export before country problem. So stay with us, because if Nigeria is serious about food security and solving our agricultural challenges, then the answer is no more handouts from traditional subsidy models, but rather smart farming. Thank you. I proudly propose.
Thank you very much for the submission. A round of applause once again, please. I would like to call on the first speaker from the opposing side, that is Bayero University, Kano, to come and tender their own rendition. A round of applause as we welcome them, please. Thank you. A round of applause as we welcome them, please.
Do you know that when fuel subsidy was removed, it plunged many Nigerians into difficult situation? According to the Food and Agriculture Organization 2024 report, it states that there are estimated 34.5 million smallholder farmers, and they contribute 90% to the agricultural sector. So imagine that you remove these subsidies. Tell me, how will these people fend? What is their fate? Good day, ladies and gentlemen, the panel of judges and my fellow debaters. I am Khalid Jibril, and I stand that says smart farming cannot address and position itself as the better challenge to Nigeria's agricultural system. So now, let us start. We have all right, hello. Smart farming initiatives. Let's start by defining the key terms. So smart farming initiative. What is smart farming initiative? They refer to the initiatives that gives us, according to the Wikipedia, it's the initiative that helps in terms of using precision farming and agriculture. So let's talk about traditional subsidy model. According to the Wikipedia, they are the financial assistance or incentive provided by the government to support farmers primarily through subsidies like fertilizers, seeds, and more. So now let's talk about why we are here. Nigeria's agricultural system. According to the Food and Agricultural Organization, it states that Nigeria's agriculture are not limited but to the following. 1, lack of infrastructure. 2, limited finances. 3, harvest losses. 4, security challenges. And 5, climate changes. Now, with this, I shall begin my argument with why the traditional subsidy model is better placed and will address the challenge. Subsidy model reduce cost of production. 2, subsidy models require less infrastructure to thrive. Economic realities. 3 and 4, we have proven effectiveness of subsidy. 5, smart farming escalates security challenges. 6, digital literacy. And I shall begin. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to further elaborate this point. Subsidy model requires cost of production. And according to the Cadre Harmonized Report of June 2025, over 30.6 million Nigerians are projected to face security. This is due to high cost of production. When people are starving, you don't give them QR codes or sensors. You give them seeds or fertilizers. And I want to make it clear that by eradicating subsidy model, you are not just addressing the challenges, you are widening the challenges on high cost of production, because smart farming requires high cost of production. Secondly, subsidy models requires less infrastructure. Let me ask you a question. How many farmers do you know in the remote villages that have access to electricity, internet, or even smart devices? According to the World Economic Forum, only 40% of rural Nigerians have access to these basic infrastructures. Now tell me, if I am to these tools, for instance, with just subsidy model, I can go to the farm without waiting for NEPA to bring light, because I don't have to use the IoT or the AI robotics system to pioneer my farm. Secondly, I do not need internet connectivity in terms of knowing how to seed the seedlings. Now, I move to the next point. Economic realities. The National Bureau of Statistics reported that as of June 2024, Nigeria's inflation rose to 33.95%, with food inflation at over 40.66. Now, with this, a farmer is already struggling to cater for basic inputs. Now, let alone drones, IoTs, and other devices. Isn't this too much? How can it fend for the farmer? Now, proving effectiveness. Let's talk about fact and not just fiction, because smart farming is just theoretical. Now we are talking. Do you know that the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative introduced in 2016 by the late President Muhammadu Buhari revived 31 blending fertilizer plants? And in return, it boosted 13. It crashed the price of fertilizer from 13,000 to 5,500. Aside from that, under the same. Okay, thank you very much. I rest my case.
A round of applause for them, please. Let's appreciate them. The argument is becoming more interesting. It's becoming highly competitive. Thank you very much. Now it's time for the second speaker. It's my pleasure to invite the second speaker from the proposing side. That is the Hippocratic advocate from Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto Udus. A round of applause for them, please, to come and present their rendition. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't help but smile when I saw the opening side shooting themselves in the leg. I want you to think with me. Subsidy on fuel is gone. On electricity is gone. And when they were removed, they heated us like thunderstorm in the Harmattan. Now I ask you, do we wait for armor to fall on agriculture too? Or do we prepare ourselves with tools that will make us stand even when this storm comes? I believe we have all been hearing the saying that you cannot solve new problems with old methods. And that is exactly what today's debate is about. Nigerian farmers are facing real pressing challenges, and while subsidies have tried, they are no longer enough. What's the debate without its pillars? My warm greetings to the honorable judges, fellow wordsmiths, and our ever-engaged audience. I remain Shebi Otima Ablati from the prestigious Usman Odanfodio University, Sokoto. Let us begin with finance. Nigerian farmers cannot just walk into banks today to collect loans simply because most of them rent lands and they do not have collateral for lands. So how do you expect someone who does not even have money for seed to grow food? I mean, how do you expect someone who does not even have money, how do you expect someone to become a cattle rearer when they do not even have money to buy calf? It's simply illogical. This is where smart farming steps in. Platforms like Thrive Greek makes getting seeds easier. They track farmers' activities, and with time, they build financial records for them. Then these financial records become gateways for loans, insurances, and even partnerships. This is a miracle that traditional subsidy models can never do. Yes, the opposition side came here and said, but traditional subsidy models gives us fertilizers and seeds. Well, let us ask ourselves, what effect has this really brought over the years? The reality is, even with subsidies, farmers are still suffering. There is no food in the country. In fact, according to the International Fertilizer Development Commission, up to 30% of subsidized fertilizers and free fertilizers get diverted, ordered, or even resold. So what good is free fertilizers when they end up in shops belonging to politicians? I know you have the answers already. Let's move to the export before home problem. Nigerian export food like sesame, yam, and ginger. Why millions go hungry? Because farmers earn more by exporting. But smart farming is turning this around. Platforms like Ninja Farm processors, cutting out greedy middlemen and keeping food in the country first. This is something traditional subsidy models simply can never do. To many young people, traditional farming is suffering, bending over in the sun, sweating. So imagine sweating, but profitable and even dignified. So everyone, what kind of world are we on the proposition side advocating for? We are proposing and recommending a world where smart farming brings finance without collateral, input without corruption, and that's all.
Let's put our hands together for him. Let's put our hands together for him, please. Thank you very much for the nice submission. I would like to call on the second speaker from the opposing side, that is Bayero University, Kano, BUK, to come and make their own presentation as to the argument. But before then, I would like to pass this information that Yankee dancers should get ready. After them, they are going to take over to give us from their own reservation. Thank you very much. A round of applause, please.
Waiting. So instead of us to come and distribute this for them to do, telling them they should go and get farm, and you do not tell them how they can afford that farm. So, Mr. Chairman, Sir, panel of judges, the prohibition has dazzled us with the promises, drones in the skies, sensors in the soil, and data on tablet. But behind their PowerPoint fantasies, a real Nigerian farmer is still struggling to afford 1 bag of fertilizer. So let me begin by dismantling the shaky foundation laid by the proposing team by exposing the assumption in their argument and showing how those assumptions failed, collapses when placed into Nigerian reality. First and foremost, because they say that local subsidies failed. Therefore, we need something new because we have tried it for too long. Here, I will strongly say subsidies do not fail. What fail, rather, is the way they are managed. Even the World Bank state that targeted subsidies, if well managed, remain the fastest way to protect farmers in fragile economics like Nigeria. So do not tell us subsidies do not work. Tell us you have not tried the right model. And guess what? You do not throw away patient because he was poisoned. You treated him, you revived him. That's why we say replant this area, though it can diagonize the parasite. No, it cannot. Medicine cure the malaria. So that is why on the opposing side, we truly believe that this medicine are well-reformed subsidies, not that so-called heavy tech smart farming techniques. And again, they say smart local subsidies are corrupted. But let me remind them one thing. Smart farming is not immune to corruption. Rather, it originates from digital landlords. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A round of applause, please. Can you join me to celebrate this? Thank you. That is actually commendable. I would like to take this opportunity to invite the Yankee dancers to come and give us from their own reservation. Please. Sorry. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the judges to give us their feedback regarding the just concluded round. A round of applause, please. We would like to call on the first speaker from the proposing side, in order to complement the debate, so as to crystallize their argument, please. 1 minute is given for them to do that. A round of applause, the first speaker from the opposing side, from the proposing side, please.
Gerald, the opposing side mentioned 52 blending sites revived by the President Buhari administration. I want to ask you, how many of these sites are working now? They've all disappeared. Smart farming gives power to the people and does not disappear with change in government. So what kind of word are we proposing or advocating for? We are proposing and recommending a word where smart farming brings finance without collateral, input without corruption, yield without guesswork, food security without loss to export, and youth participation without him. And I challenge the opposition to show us how traditional subsidy models can do the same. And if they can't, then they are not winning this debate. Subsidies may sound good, but the status quo is that it has been failing us for so many years. Smart farming is the fresh air Nigerian agriculture desperately needs, and that's the counterfactual. And this is why we confidently support this motion. And as per internet connectivity, most farmers do have mobile phones, even if 2G. SMS and USSD tech works as no fancy app is needed. So that there is even expansion in rural connectivity thanks to the Project 774 LG Internet Initiative of the Nigeria's Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the proposing side. We will now invite the first speaker from the opposing side in order to crystallize their round and their submission. That's their closing argument. A round of applause as we welcome them, please.
All right. The second speaker talked about the 31 blending PowerPoint. I didn't expect you to just come and tell us what. Talking about corruption, and then there's corruption in your smart farming too. You can't tell us that. And then when we talk about infrastructure,
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate them, please. That is formidably incredible. Thank you very much. It's actually commendable. We'd like to take this time to invite the Yankee dancers for their own presentation. DJ, can you give us the Yankee dancers for their own presentation? DJ, can you give us the interlude?
Jaki jai na ne? Wallahi mamu ne ta yace na kai nika. To na kai nika nan a inji, aka nika a cikin injin fatari, inji nika ta yi libin sai laushi. Na da kuwa ina tafiya a hanya. Langwal. Kawai na wata akuya ta ce min me? Akuyan? Ban kula akuyan ba. Na ka tafiya. Langwal ta tafiya ta kace me akuyan ban kula ta ba kawai shikenan kawai ka tada mana kira hin aje bu a gabanta sai gashi garin baban mu ne an nika laushi in ki gama garin in ki kai sauran garin gida a ito to she dan bayan gani ko ta kai garin ko ba ta kai garin ba dan duba gani yanzu
wai na shebba ita akuyan hakki ba ta gare he ta kai gida
in ta gama garin ba ta kai buhun gida nika gari ba
Allah sarki to madalla in gorogo zaki shirogo ko okay gaida gida yawa hakin dawo ko hande bani keshe da kawai ai ka da wala hakili arad wato haiki ba akuya gari ya kai gari yanke ai ba ta gani ani abun mamaki yaro wai ha tura ta wai ta kai nuka wai ta ba akuya wata kai gari gida
ai zamanin namu kenan
na rashin hankali
irin matasan da muke da su kenan
mana
a to irin na
Najeriya waye shi
ake manta fa akwai ilimi yanzu aradu ba irin na da ba
Allah
aradu to yanzu da kina son ki shiga baka hadi matashi
to shi matashi da ka ganshi
wa alaikum salam ila
ai ka zo ka da muna dan
ko na biyu kina gari ko Allah
ai muna tadin matasa ne kaga da shi gawan bai mai aure ba ya shugabanci kasar Najeriya kaga sabo ka tafa balewa duk ba su kai shekara 40 ba suna matasa da karfin kwakwalwa da karfin jiki da karfin komai suka mulki Najeriya suka yi aiki mai kyau suka rike gaskiya suka rike amana ga tarbiyya ga tausayi
haka take
amma yanzu kana ajiye naira 1000 anan kana kaucewa kafin ka dawo da ka samu babu
wannan haka take arado yanzu babu tarbiyya yadda ya kamata
ina yanke
gani
ni ka ganin nan na fahimci kasan nan yanzu ai akwai kaga kasan nan da yake na fahimce shi idan kana so ka rayu successfully ka ɗebo ƙarya kofi 10 sai ka hada da ƙarya rabin kofi a gaskiya rabin kofi
Allah
wallahi ina gaya maka ne
amma kai ni ina da tunani
gaskiya
yawa shi matashi ya fi so a kama hannunsa na yanzu a nuna masa nan wurin inda za ka yi noma nan wurin akwai zafi nan wurin akwai kaya to in ya tashi bi in ya zo wajen kaya sai ya tsallake in ya zo wajen zafi sai ya tsallake in ya zo wajen noma sai ya yi shuka ya yi noma sai kaga ya tafi daidai ai manyan ba sa jan matasan a jiki ne
wannan
haka
take al'adu batun kenan
kai to Allah dakata wala yanke kai ga kanka kaman gidan tarihi zaka fahimci abu amma baka fahimta abu dakata do Allah
ba na so wallahi ba na
to bari ka ji matasan yanzu bari ga maka ba irin matasan da bane idan kai yadda matashi ya wuce to ya wuce kenan kai an barka wuri ɗaya kaman aninin wando
illa
ga maka maganan gaskiya ne
illa ina kike
na'am
haki sa riga ne a ganki shi riga hai kashe mutu amma tunanin ki gara tunkiya da ita radu ai yanzu wankin ba matashi tana da ilimi tana da hankali dama ne ba a bata
dama ne ba
matashi dama a radu zai ga shi gaba
ni ba na goyon baya a ba wa matashi dama
ni ina goyon baya a ba wa matashi dama ba domin komai ba saboda abubuwa da dama
wannan haka take
bari gaya maka hanyoyin da aka tankwarar da matashi
yawa
yanzu kaga ilimi matashi in ya gama firamare ya gama secondary in ya je university ba zai iya biyan kuɗi ba
daya ina jinka
ba zai iya noma ba saboda yanzu babu kwanciyar hankali sa'annan babu tsaro ka ce biyu a yanzu babu aikin yi kakanninmu da iyayenmu sun haɗa kujeran da wannan sun rike sun gagara sakewa kace mun uku a bangaren siyasa su ba mu kuɗi mu zaɓe su je can su ne komai a can kuma muka dawo sai su ba mu hatsi kalilan
to tsaya daga nan yanke akwai maganan da prof yayi yace Nigeria is a country of connection if you don't know how to connect you remain disconnected na son ga maka gaskiya ne nake gaya maka saboda haka ka bari kawai
to yanzu ni na ji matasa kada su yadda a ce musu matasa shugaban gobe sai dai shugabannin yanzu a ba su yanzu in sun yi kuskure a gyara in sun yi kuskure a sake gyarawa
da haka har ya iya baki ɗaya ya koya ya iya yafi
to shikenan ni zan shiga gida
karka da
san matana tana danyi wani abu wallahi
mai ya faru ne
ba komai je ka kawai yau ba ranar kasuwa ba
ranar kasuwa ne
ka gaya wa jinjiri ka ce ina gaishe shi
za ta ji
wai yana so ya nuna maka cewa shi matansa shi din kamar mijin hajiya ne tana kula da
ni ba kamar mijin hajiya ba
ni abin da na fahimta illa ita dai ta yi sa'an mata Allah ya mata albarka
yawa
yanzu da dama ana neman mata mai hankali ma ilimi mai tunani irin nata ba a samu
haka ne
nagode ta shiga kasuwa
yawa
mu shiga ta gida a'a yanki ke tsaya bari in gaya maka wani abu guda kaji su mata zuma ne sai da wuta naga kaman kai shashasha ne kada ka taka ci kar ka ga wai tana maka biyayya wallahi akwai inda take so ta ce tana reaching wannan destination din wallahi ka shiga aku
ni na
kar ka mun musu mu muka ga jiya muka ga shekaran jiya muka ga kuma
ba musu bane amma mangariba yayi kusa ba a fada da mata da mangariba
bari ka ji
Allah ba a fada da mata
to bari in ga maka ni ba na ki maka bane yankenke abinda nake so ka gane shine wallahi tallahi duk wannan biyayyan da take maka idan ka bari biyayyan nan a ta yi ricin wannan destination din wallahi ka shiga ku mata zuma ne sai da wuta ka bude mata wuta
to shikenan
yawa shine da ka zama mijin kwarai
a'a mu je kawai wallahi tallahi mu je salamu alaikum kande
wa alaikum assalam
to mana ka san wani lokaci duk mutumin da baya da mata mai kyau
me gida sannu da
yawa sannu
na
lafiya kallon ai ya hakuri akwai abin da ya sauwaka ne
ai mai gida ka san dole a tana da maka komai saboda ina ji da kai wallahi
ka san wani abu saboda ɗaya maka ni ka san kyan mata na wani lokaci ko na inni ko na uku in ban ci abinci ban na zo na ganta ruwa kawai nake sha na koji
bari ka ka ga mace kaga yadda ta yi hasken nan ba hasken alheri ba ne
kai
wallahi kaga wannan ni na kallanta na ga munafurci a fiskanta
Allah kai bude mata wuta ga yamu me ya kamata yi
abinda za ka yi shine ka mata magana a tsatsaye
Allah
wallahi
ke kina ji ko an ce yi miki magana a tsatsaye ki dinga ganewa da kyau saboda ni namiji ne bai kamata mutum da mutum yana magana kina tsaye kamar mutum da mutum ba
me gida lafiya
aina lafiya ce ta kawo haka wani abu ne
daga fitan da fa yanzu daga ka canja mun fa
ke ji mana ki dinga magana hankali ki dinga magana hankali
dan Allah kai hakuri
in ne hakurin kai ina
ni da duk abin da kan ba zan bar maka biyayya ba saboda haka aka to daga gidan iyayena ba akwai ya mana shin kunya wa
ina yake
wai ka ji iyayena ma ba su iya tarbiya ba
zo daga nan mu fita daga waje Allah kana ji na kaga matankan nan dan jirani tukuna barin sai ta maka ita duk abin da na faɗa ka ce haka ne kawai
an gama
amarya
na
kai amarya ke daga ganin ki yar aljanna
ni kuma me yake faruwa ne
wallahi ya baki sani ba ni abun ya bani mamaki ni lokacin da kika auri wannan mijin kin nan an rufe miki ido ne mutum kina gani daga sama fuskan sa kamar an yaye saman kicin tsakani da Allah barin ga miki gaskiya ki ji yanzu daga majalisa muke yace babanki maye ne uwarki mai ya ce kin ji ko yace ya rantse da Allah yanzu yana so ya samu wani dama ne yayi bugun fina da yake da ke
ni din
bari ki ji abokina
na'am
abin da na faɗa haka ne
kwarai da gaske haka ne sosai ma sosai
sannan ina so in ga miki yace ai da wai ke din nan a gidanku kafin a aure da ke kina canja wa shanya wurin zama barauniya ne ke bari ki ji abokina haka ne
na'am
na ce haka ne ko
kwarai da gaske kwarai haka ne
yanzu in ya zo wallahi ki nuna masa ke ma fa kin aihu wannan biyayyan da kike shi yasa yake miki abin da ya ga dama jira ina zuwa
yawa kuma ya ai bari in shiga
da ka tatuku wannan mata naka bata da mutunci
Allah
wallahi
me ta yi
ka ganta nan tace ta rantse da Allah kai din nan ta fahimci kai munafiki ne ba kaɗan ba
ni
amarya ina ce haka ne
tabbas haka na ba
ha illa
ni abin da nake so da kai ka gane kar ka saurara mata kana shiga kawai kai kokari ka sake ta kawai
zo ka mun shaida kawai
Allah ka ba sai na shiga ba
wallahi ka mun shaida
ba sai na shiga ba shiga
amarya ni ne da ke mun haka a dalilin haka tunda ke baki fahimce ni ba ki fahimci darajar aure ba ki je na sake ki tara 3 a duniya 3 ko ɗaya zai lalace a hanya 3 a lahira ko da ba a yarda da na duniyar ba
ta fi nono fari ai ban san da manya kake ɗauka na ba barauniya ka ce ba dan
kai ki mun haka ni ne na sake ki bar mun gida
to dama ina maka biyayya ne saboda ina son ka duk abin da ka ga dama ka je
nawa kai
tara
Allah maka albarka
amin yawa ɗan wullo su kaga rayuwar duniya a hankali ake bin duk matan da ta maka kayan kara shikenan na sake matana fa da tun yaushe na sake matana ai da na ajiye kara ta tsallaka shikenan kawai sai ta tsallaka wata
yaron nan yana da hankali da tunani da hangen nesa tana kaunan shi.
Salamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Abokina. Lafiya kalau. La godiya.
Ya gari.
Wallahi da godiya.
Ai to madalla.
Albishirin ku ne.
Ai go.
Shagamu.
Wallahi abin ya zo min cikin gaggawa da magariba aka daura aure na.
Aure dai.
Wallahi tallahi.
Aure dai.
Wallahi baka kyauta mana ba.
To abin ya zo cikin
na jamani nan ka kira mu ki
don Allah yanzu ku yi hakuri na sa an yi dage an yi dan wake na san kana san dan wake.
Kwarai.
To Allah mu je sai na gaice ku je kuma ku dan taba ku sa albarka.
Akwai alalai.
Ku zo mu wallahi.
Mu je kawai wallahi.
Wai na kai.
Kandala.
Allah.
Kandala.
Wato
ai wani kelli kike yi fa ke fa canza fa.
Wani lokaci.
Wallahi sai da
haske. Bismillah. In ana magana a dinga zaunawa. A dinga zaunawa. Ladla zauna mana. Hankalin na zaune ya fi na tsaye.
Kandala. Ga abokai da na zo za su zo su dan abin nan.
Ina wuninka? Ina gajiya.
Dan bullo. Fito don Allah. Fito don Allah. Don Allah da sauri don Allah.
Da kawo dan waken ku.
Ini da mun wulakanci. Mata na ya zuka ne suke wushi kuma ya aura.
Ita wannan mai hankalin dai?
Ita ne. Ai dole umma.
A tsaya ki ji.
Allah. Dilla. Na gode ba.
Kalala za ta wuce.
Na'am.
Ya tana zuwa amma mu kira ne na gaggawa tana zuwa.
To shikenan.
Ita gode.
Ba komai.
An go mijin amarya.
Kamo ta nan. Ai baki sani ba. Wallahi duk wanda ya same ki in ya rasa ki to wallahi shi ya asara.
Ka ce shi yasa ka kasa ka tsare. A'a. Kai wubda ni.
Yanzu fa jinki nake a raina kawan kudin haya.
Allah ko?
Wallahi tallahi. Mu shiga daga ciki don dinni aiki da rana aiki da mu je dai kawai daga ciki. Mu shiga.
Yawwa dan tandu? Zo ko?
Mama.
Menene? Kai wallahi dan tandu da abin dariya kake. Dan tandu me hakan ne kan? Kai ikon Allah.
Mama.
Na'am.
Mama.
Na'am. Kai to naji kwarai ma.
Wallahi mama Allah. Wallahi kaman tusanki.
Me kace dan tandu ni ban warka ce fa.
Dan kina fiye da kin tusa fi.
Kai dan tandu kenan.
Mama ina baba nan yake?
Yana zuwa babanka. Allah kuwa.
Dan yi sabon baba.
Wallahi tallahi.
Salamu alaikum.
Amin wa alaikum salam. Haba dan tandu za ka je ka ji masa ciwo ai. Sannu. Dan tandu kai. Kararashe shi. Ka ba shi haƙuri kararashe shi dan tandu.
Ya haƙuri.
Shiru ka ji ko?
Wannan ɗin wane ne?
Ai ɗan auta na ne.
Allahu akbar sannu ko. To ai irin wannan sai karya mun mutum ugu.
Wallahi tallahi.
Wannan kaza ne.
Oh to.
Kaza ne sai a shiga da shi ta cikin gida.
To shikenan.
Sai a kintsa ko?
To shikenan.
Ayya. Sannu ko? Me sunanka?
Dan tandu.
Ayya dan tandu. Yanzu ni ne ubanka ka gane?
To kuma ka zage ni?
To ni ne babanka, ni ne babanka.
To da ka ce ni ne ubanka.
To ka yi haƙuri. Ka ga yadda kake matashin nan? Ka yi haƙuri. Idan ka ga abu daidai, ka yi shi daidai.
Ƙwarai ma kuwa.
In an baka amana, ka riƙe hannu biyu.
Ƙwarai.
Idan kuma aka saka ka a makaranta, ka sa jajircewa banda satan jarrabawa.
Kuma
kana ji ko banda zagin malamai. Kana ji ko duk ansan da aka tambaye ka ba da amsa daidai. Sai ka zama mutumin kirki, ka zama shugaban gobe in Allah ya yarda.
Baba.
Na'am.
Ni ma ina so a sani a wannan makarantar da sani mai wanda ake ilimi a ciki sosai din nan.
Ai wannan sai
wanda shiga makarantar nan.
Karka damu.
Wani makaranta? Wani makaranta?
ATBU.
ATBU.
Da. ATBU tun daga yanzu ake farawa?
ATBU da saka cimma. Ko ba dan kake so ba?
Ko bai yi firamare school ba fa. Bai yi firamare ba fa.
To ai wayan yayi ne zai je wajen.
O sai ya gama.
Daga can na ATBU. Sai da kasa.
Kai. In kai ATBU gaba za ka dinga yi. Gaba ka karka dawo kasa.
So ke in dawo gaban wannan mutumin.
John Jinjiri shi ma.
John Jinjiri Kasa mutum na ilimi ne. In yana turanci. Da ka dangare a jikin garu yana haka.
Ya yadda.
Yana garewa
ya sani. To yanzu za mu shiga ta ciki.
To shi kenan. Dan tandu? Yawwa ka zauna fa.
Ka je ka kira ya kira ɗaya ɗankin babban ɗankin ne yayi sauri ya kira shi.
To ai dama ka san ai ya ce zai taho da.
Ka je ku taho da shi. Ku taho da su ku taho. Da wanka da yanka.
Da. Yi sauri.
Duk wanda ya ga yaron nan zai gani ne ubansa. Saboda shi baki uwarsa baki ni ma baki.
Kwarai ma.
Amma ai ni baki ne mai fidda farin tuwo.
Ina dan fulani.
Kin gane ko wani lokaci rayuwa sai a hankali.
Dan fulani. Kana ji?
Tana ji.
Wallahi na kwana biyu ban je gida ba.
Ya kamata.
To ya kamata mu je mu yi gaisuwa yadda ya kamata.
Ai yaro mai tarbiyya.
Wallahi.
Yana tashi daga beci har ya je wajen mama.
Gaskiya ne, kuma gaskiya ne. Sai an
ki tsaya ta yi sallama.
Ni da gidanmu kuma sai na yi sallama.
Gidanki ne?
Salamu alaikum. Kai don Allah zo mu shiga.
Wa alaikum salam ku shigo.
Salamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Wato kina ji ko kafa na nan so samun kafa na. Sosa yawa.
Mama bace.
Dan nan.
Na'am ba mama.
Kai to tun da ka zo shikenan ya aikin ubanka.
Mama waye wannan?
Kai
waye wannan?
Ai shine ubanka ai. Wannan ai ubanka ne ai.
Aboki na ne fa mama.
Waye abokin kai ni ba san ka bane fa.
Yawwa to ubanka ne ka masa biyayya. Yau zo nan.
Bari kawai. Daka da ki ubanka.
Daka da ki ubanka.
Kai da ki ubansa.
Ubanka da haka da ka? Bari tsine maka kawai.
Ya hakuri.
Wanda dan tsine maka. To zo ka bashi hakuri.
Mama
ka durkusa ka bashi.
Mama aboki na.
Zo ka durkusa ka bashi.
Yanzu mama auren da kika yi dama shi kika.
Zo ka tsuguna ka bashi hakuri ko an tsine maka albarka an daga maka nono.
Kai hakuri. Kai hakuri.
Ban ji ba fa.
Kai hakuri.
Yawwa to akwai wankin sa da ka dauki wankin sa da ka masa wanki ka masa guga.
Akwai gajeren wando na a ciki shi ma yayi da fiya a masa.
To kana ji ko? Ni kan ma ashe a gidan ubanka ma wuyar banza na sha a shan anan ne na samu miji na aure.
Lillahi wa inna ilaihi.
Yanzu ne na san na ya aure ai amma a gidan ku ai wahala na sha.
Ta ji kaza.
Kake faruwa ne abu na sunna ne kina bata rai?
Wallahi ya cuce ni.
Kai ubanka ne fa. Damtsi ne maka fa.
Ya guri mama.
Ka san Allah ko? Shi fa wannan ya sa ni astira ne. Kaga da in ta yawo ba ni da aure kullun ina sakin kosai a bakin titi. Ya zo ya aure ni ai abun ka masa godiya ne.
Mama da wani kika aura wallahi abokina ne.
Abokinka? To ai shine daidai da ni yanzu na san na yi aure ai.
Mama.
Na'am.
Dan fita zan dan shiga ta ciki.
Yawwa to ka fita na mu gana da babanka.
Ke kuma mu shiga ta ciki do Allah.
To
mu shiga ta ciki da ke.
Kai ma munafiki ne.
Dawo ta nan.
Ka san komi munafiki. Wallahi auren nan sai an raba shi.
of the greatest Nigerian student, of the greatest Nigerian student. All right, so I'm just going to give, like, just pick points, the moral lessons for the sake of our visitors who do not understand Hausa language. So the take home from this debate, from the drama, they acted on the need for youth inclusion in governance, right? So it's high time as a country, we begin to see youths as partners for progress rather than competitors, right? They also talked about the need for women's inclusion in governance, in fact, at all levels, starting from the student union government. The student union government is a traditional entry point to political landscape. So it means from here, we must begin to ensure that no one is left behind, including persons living with disabilities. Lastly, is the need for us as young persons to stand as young advocates for good governance at our various communities. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Rex, for that summary. That was very useful for those who are not able to understand Hausa. So moving right back into the debate competition, we'd like to take some points from our judges before we proceed to the next rounds of the debate.
Of the greatest Nigerian student, I believe we've enjoyed ourselves. I want to appreciate us for the energy, especially the debaters. I just want to reiterate the grading criteria. So remember, we are judging you based on your organizations and clarity, the use of argumentation, the use of rebuttals, the language of which you use to communicate your argumentation, and of course, your overall presentation. So far, we've enjoyed the energy in this debate, and also to make things very clear in terms of for mechanization, especially me trying to be very constructive when you do like policy motions, you want to show us how you can implement that policy. We understand that your policy is good, the counter policy is good. We want to get how your own implementation would work, against the other form of implementation. Thank you very much as we, get on with the debate. Yeah, also, please be looking at your timer. There's a timer in front of you. She's holding the timer. So for first speakers, like we said, it's 5 minutes. For second speakers, you have 3 minutes. The last speakers are coming to, just use 1 minute to do a wrap up. So don't intend to do what you're supposed to do in 5 minutes to do it in 1 minute. That's very bad. So use your 5 minutes wisely and your 3 minutes. God bless you.
Thank you very much, our panel of judges. So inviting onto the stage for the next round of debates would be the champions of, Umaru Musa Eradua University and Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University. This is going to be a very interesting one. The motion for the debate is government-led artificial intelligence initiatives are more likely to entrench elitism than bridge Nigeria's digital skill gaps. Inviting to the stage is the first speaker from Umaru Musa Eradua University. You have the floor. Okay, also to just remind our students to please desist from shouting. If you're impressed by any point made by a debater, just make a gesture rather than clapping so they are not distracted. First speaker from Umaru Musa Eradua University is Abba Hamza. You have the floor. Remember, it's 5 minutes and the timer is right in front of you.
What does the future of artificial intelligence hold for Nigeria's most vulnerable populations? Can government-led artificial intelligence initiatives truly bridge the digital skills gap, or will they widen the existing inequalities? How can we ensure that the benefit of artificial intelligence is shared by all Nigerians, not just the privileged few? Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished judges, honorable audience, and my fellow debaters, I am Abba Hamza from Umar Musa Yar'Adua University, Kazana. It's a great pleasure standing in front of you here today. We are passionate advocates supporting the motion. Government-led artificial intelligence initiatives are more likely to entrench elitism than bridge Nigeria's digital skills gap. I would like to start with defining artificial intelligence. According to ResearchGate, artificial intelligence refers to technologies that mimic human intelligence to analyze data, make decisions, or perform tasks. Then elitism, the belief or attitude that those who are considered as members of the elite, whether based on wealth, education, or family background, or other factors, are superior to others, or others should hold more power to influence. And now, this is why we should all support the motion. To begin, the high cost of artificial intelligence infrastructure is a significant barrier to adoption. Only those with resources to afford will be able to benefit from. According to report by Powerhouse Coopers, the high cost of graphics processing unit and data storage infrastructure is a major challenges by many organizations in Nigeria. For example, the construction of artificial intelligence research and development in elite institutions and urban areas can limit access to AI training and education in rural areas, excavating the existing inequalities. Secondly, shortage of skilled professionals in artificial intelligence is another problem that will excavate the existing inequalities. The immigration of trained professionals and level of accessible high-quality training will leave many Nigerians behind in artificial intelligence revolution. For instance, the Digital Skills Program, 3MTT, by Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy is a step in the right direction, but more needs to be done to address the skills gap. The high cost of artificial intelligence infrastructure can limit access to AI technology for small businesses and entrepreneurs, making it difficult to compete with larger organizations. Thirdly, lack of robust regulations and ethics governance in AI artificial intelligence adoption will further widen the gap between have and have not. AI systems can perpetuate existing social inequalities and undermine trust in technology. The Nigeria's data protection is a good start, but requires more efforts to be done to ensure that AI is developed and used responsibly. For example, the lack of diversity in AI development teams can lead to bias. AI systems that triggers existing social inequalities such as gender or racial bias. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine a young lady who dreams of becoming a tech innovator, living in a rural village in Nigeria, but however, due to lack of access to quality education, resources, or digital literacy, she's left behind in AI revolution. Government-led artificial intelligence initiatives with their focus on high-end applications, focus on elite institutions and urban areas, further marginalizing our young girl and millions like her. Thank you.
Another round of applause, please.
Moderator, can I have a second? Yes. Nigerian students, can we stand up, please? Stand up. Can I have a moment? Everybody hold your left ear. Promise me that for the next moment we are going to keep quiet. Say we are going to keep quiet. We are going to keep quiet. If you need to speak, please just move out. You can now sit down.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you. That was a very fantastic argument by Umar Musa Eradua University. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the presence of the State Program Manager, United Nations National Populations Fund, UNFPA, Ms. Deborah Tabara. You're most welcome, and we're happy to have you in our midst this afternoon. Next, I'll invite to the stage representative of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University to come forward for his own motion, or for her motion. The timer is right in front of you, and you have 5 minutes.
Good day, panel of judges, ladies and gentlemen. I stand before you today to tell you that you should remove the past ideas and look at Nigeria. In Nigeria that is going to be rebetted, in Nigeria of the future, in Nigeria of the youth. Now, my opponents said that there were problems that, my opponent said that prices of data is too much and that youths cannot actually access these opportunities. But yet, I tell you that the cheapest Android phone, which connects to these digital apps, are just 35,000 naira only. Now, these apps, these are already phones that are actually used for music, for internet connection, for checking sports updates, and for actually checking BB Niger updates. In March 2025, AI hubs were actually implemented in all the countries in all the states in Nigeria, specifically in Yobe State, in Borno, and in different IDP camps in Zamfara and Katsina. So if we're actually serious about inclusion, let's not build or destroy the progress. No, let's build on it. My name is Ayara Emedion Grace, and I strongly represent ATBU, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi. Firstly, access is not actually the problem here. Priority is. Let me begin with a simple question. How can you say access is the problem when you are dished out to the opponent, who is the better player, but yet he's not willing to improve himself by learning simple cybersecurity? Secondly, government-led AI initiatives reach beyond urban tech. Before 2023, there were no tech or little tech AI hubs in the northern and the rural areas. The issue was like this. If you are not in Lagos or Abuja, forget tech. How many of us have heard that? But now, government have implemented over 103 different AI hubs across the northern Nigeria and across rural areas. So tell me, my audience, if this digital Nigeria, the app, see, may we tell ourselves the truth. This digital Nigeria, it ain't free. Yet, everybody they say they know if you use them. If they use English, Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Munatare, we are understanding. And this app is totally free. Thirdly, this digital app is irrespective of wherever you are. Now, my opponents talked about a young girl in Zamfara State not having opportunities. But yet, I tell you, formal educations most times do not allow, most young girls do not attend formal educations. But yet, these digital apps are irrespective of your location or where you are, in your bedroom, in your toilet, you can actually take these courses. And yet, these courses are actually very easy to understand. It takes less than 3 hours weekly to do these courses. So I ask you, dear audience, do we give opportunities to these youths? Do we allow Nigerian AI initiatives to actually take control? Or we should leave it to the other people who say that these are not for the youth. Let me ask this question. So if you think AI training equals elitism, you are actually ignoring thousands of youths in Maiduguri, Bruno, and Castina who are now learning AI because of these government initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a very strong argument from Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University. Inviting on speaker from the proposing side, you have 3 minutes
of minimum wage. Am I going to live with the phone? Is that what I'm going to eat? Of minimum wage. Am I going to live with the phone? Is that what I'm going to eat? Roughly 1/3 of Nigerians all lack basic literacy, with only 34 of rural women being literate. Let's take this to Kasina. For example, the 3 billion technical talent program had 1,400 selected participants. Only 400 graduated. Literacy, poor infrastructure program was 20,000 naira. Imagine I didn't have a phone, so I'll have to wait till the next month to buy a 35,000 naira phone that is the cheapest in Nigeria. Also, they said access is not the problem, but priority is. If priority is the problem, then prioritize rural people. Do not keep putting these places that people can get digitally literate in urban areas. Place them in the rural regions. And do you know that in Funtua, Kankara, Katsina, Zamfara, the network goes off anytime the bandits are around? Do you know that? How do you expect us to be digitally literate when our network is fluctuating like naira and dollar? So please, I beseech you, support me with my cause that government-led AI initiatives only entrench elitism and do not do anything but only building walls between us and digital literacy.
Thank you very much for that wonderful argument. Up next is the second speaker from Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University. A round of applause, please. Let's motivate them with our applause. Remember, you have 3 minutes. The timer is right in front of you. Stick to it, please.
I would like to acknowledge what my opponent speaker said concerning the lack of digital literacy that is keeping a lot of women away from digital learning and skills. But I would like to say, just as the saying goes, Rome is not built in a day. We have the National Information Technology Development Agency that is actively working to see that these 40% of women are being included in most of their programs. Standing before you, I am Nehemiah Irene Bupada, standing as the second speaker representing Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University. I'd like to go on with my fourth point, going to follow the first 3 points laid already by the first speaker. Leaving digital skills to private sector perpetuates it. According to the situation at hand, most private sectors and firms are unlikely to patronize rural areas and non-commercial areas, which we know is a strong stand against and to deepen and worsen the situation at hand and the digital divide. According again to World Bank ILO UNESCO report in 2023 on global TVET system, it warns that in the absence of strong governmental framework in public schools, in commercial and community learning centers, and also in free digital skills. Just like what we have happening in Rwanda today, where the Rwandan government has established a public school that trains top performing rural students in AI, in software engineering, and also in these academics, and this particular academy prioritizes equity and thank you.
Thank you very much for that wonderful argument. So, representative of Umaru Musa Eradua, please make way to the stage for your final argument. 1 minute.
My opponent, there is no working or there is no evidence that these things that they've been trying to do to fix the digital skills gap in Nigeria is working. Because right now, I close my eyes and I see a wall. I see a wall standing between me and digital skills. So there's a critical flaw in the reasoning of what you just said. Inclusivity on paper and in pictures, just because they go on the news and they tell us that they are being inclusive, doesn't necessarily mean that they are being inclusive. They need to serve those that actually need this. The elites are already rich, so please provide this to those in the rural areas. Women with low literacy are having a higher percentage compared to men. They should invest and make sure women gain more literacy.
To finalize your arguments.
This motion, in conclusion, I will say, claims that the Nigerian government and whatever it's doing is worsening the situation at hand. But I will say that this information is not only misleading, it is incorrect and also unfair to the efforts that the government is putting to see that this digital skip is being closed. We've shown clearly that government initiatives are not for the elites. In short, they are opening doors to IDP camps, to rural areas, and to undeserved communities. Through free mobile and multilingual platforms. The facts, the numbers, and the intentions all point to inclusion. And then access to infrastructure. We know that, yes, these problems will remain: access to infrastructure, to policy and policy consistency, and to access to internet will remain. But what we need is scaling, support, and collaboration, not pessimism. Let's not tear down the ladder. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have come to the end of this round. But at this point, I'm beginning to think that to feel like we're all tired and we may need a little bit of ginger. So great Nigeria students. Thank you very much. At this point, I'd like to still acknowledge the presence of our dignitaries. We really acknowledge and appreciate you for staying with us up to this moment. We cannot thank you enough, really. So we'll be diving right into the next round of debates. But before then, a few points will be taken from our judges before we wrap up. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Hello. To all things being equal, I believe we are on the same page, but you have not kept my promise. You are still making noise. Do you know what noise making does? It causes huge distractions. We are about rounding up this debate, and I beg to have the full attention, please. You are causing slight distractions, even sitting down, moving. Talk more of chit-chatting. You are causing huge distractions, please. Our feedbacks, I believe, are being noted by our debaters, and we know we are on track, so we have to round up and beat time, okay? So good luck.
Just to add, so for every speaker, please don't be destabilized by the fact that we ring the bell. Finish whatever statements you need to make. Please, take your time. In the next 10 seconds, we'll stop you, but when you've already started saying something and the bell rings, complete your sentence. Don't just stop. Do you understand? So you need to be calm. I must say this, be calm. We need to hear what you're saying. Be audible. Some of you are not so audible. Use the mic. It's important that we hear you. And please keep the distractions very low, because we need to hear them so that we can be fair to them. Do you understand? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So our next motion for debate is the declaration of a national emergency is justified in response to Nigeria's surge in gender-based violence. And we have Team Ahmadu Bello University proposing this motion, while the second team from Ahmadu Bello University is opposing the motion. Remember, we mentioned that we have two teams from Ahmadu Bello University because they were all good debaters, and we would like for you to be the judge of who should move to the next round of the debate. So please make welcome the first speaker from the proposing side. We have Paul Aya Tokuma. A round of applause, please. Let's motivate our debaters.
Panel, ladies and gentlemen, whenever a husband beats his wife behind closed doors, and whenever a child is given out to marriage before her body is ready, or whenever a victim of gender-based violence cries for help, cries for justice, but is answered rather with silence, we, the proposing team, understand that gender-based violence is much more than statistics. It is our reality, and that's the reason we stand firmly before you today to propose the motion that the declaration of a national emergency is justified in response to the surge in gender-based violence in Nigeria. Now, before I proceed, my name is Paul Aye. I'm a student of Ahmadu Bello University's area. Our key terms, I'm going to explain them. Justified, national emergency, gender-based violence. Justified, as defined by the Black's Law Dictionary, simply refers to having legal reason or excuse, showing sufficiently legal reason for acting or failing to do so. National emergency. Section 305, subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution defines national emergency as a situation that threatens the sovereignty, public safety, or existence of a nation, granting the federal government to act to curtail it. Gender-based violence. According to the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, gender-based violence simply refers to any harmful act directed at an individual based on their gender. Now, these things could refer to rape, female genital mutilation, domestic abuse, you name it. Now, why do we stand here to tell you that a national emergency declaration is justified? First of all, remember that the Constitution says anything that threatens the existence of this nation and the public safety is justifiably a national emergency. Now, firstly, the figures are horrifying. Nigeria is at war with itself. According to a report by United Nations Women in Nigeria, 1 out of 3 women are sexually or physically abused between the ages of 15 to 49. And as if that is not enough, A report by International Center for Investigative Reporting says that 27,698 cases of gender-based violence was recorded between 2020 and 2023. Now, what do you call it when millions of citizens are living in fear? Is that not an emergency? Of course it is. We are saying, okay, go ahead and declare national emergency without following due process. We have laws. We have the Violence Against Persons Protection Act 2015. For these laws, it's like, okay, it's rainy season. And if you're working in rainy season, you should know that you should carry your umbrella, right? Now you're working, and then you carry your umbrella, and suddenly it starts raining. But you refuse to put on your umbrella. So what happens? The rain is going to fall on you. That's exactly what happens when we have laws, but we fail to implement them. Now we are saying, when you implement these laws, what will happen? Firstly, government will mobilize a special gender-based violence response force. It will create courts to fast-track offenders and try people who have been found wanting for gender-based violence. And lastly, it will train and deploy female risk zones. Thirdly, let's look at examples. History is a teacher. In 2019, South Africa faced a gender-based violence problem, and the then President Cyril Ramaphosa declared justifiably a national emergency on gender-based violence. And what happened? About 1.6 billion rand was dedicated to end gender-based violence. And beyond that, they set up courts to fast-track and try offenders. And lastly, they set up a national council to make sure that government is held accountable to what they said it would do. Right? Now, let's bring it home to Nigeria. In 2014, Nigeria experienced the Ebola virus. Now, while people are going around and bathing with salt and hot water, what did Nigeria do? Nigeria declared a national emergency in our health sector. And what happened? We were able to fast-track and defeat the Ebola, and we were praised by the national community that's the global community, for responding very well to global crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, panel of judges, my opponents are going to come here, and they're going to tell you that gender-based violence is a systematic problem, and so we should use systematic solutions to solve them. But them that has been sleeping, that has been silent all this while. How do you do that? In conclusion, this is not a time for silence. This is not a time to play it safe. When your house is on fire, you do not call a debate and argue whether you should quench the fire or not. You go ahead and you pour water on it and quench your fire. Nigeria is bleeding, and we need to end gender-based violence today because life is at stake, and the only response is urgency. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that wonderful argument. Indeed, gender violence is something we must all end now. Next, we'll call on our speakers from Ahmadu Bello University for the opposing motion to come on stage. Please, let's motivate our debaters with a huge round of applause.
Imagine your house catches fire. You have water, you have fire extinguisher, but you choose not to use any of them. Instead, you keep shouting, emergency, emergency, while your house keeps burning down. This is exactly what the declaration of national emergency feels like. Because we already have the tools in Nigeria, but what we lack is enforcement, not another declaration of emergency. As the great Nelson Mandela said, and I quote, "It is not the lack of laws that breaks the nation, it is the failure to implement them." The panel of judges, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good day to you all. My name is Bilkisa Abubakar Shehu, representing the prestigious University Ahmed Bello University Zaria. Today we debate on the topic, the declaration of national emergency is justified in response to Nigeria's such gender-based violence. As the first speaker, it is important to me to lay a groundwork by explaining some key terms in this debate. After all, we cannot build a structure without understanding what we are talking about. Now, what is national emergency? According to the Oxford Learner's Advanced Dictionary, national emergency refers to a situation of national danger or disaster where a nation suspends all normal constitutional procedures in order to regain control. Secondly, gender-based violence. This refers to any harm done to a person or group of people because of their gender, race, sex, or identity. Now, in arguing this topic, I shall be relying on only two but very important and vital arguments. And I would like you all to put on your thinking caps and study my point critically. Firstly, lack of enforcement. When you hear national emergency, what comes to your mind? It sounds like a very big solution to solving big problems, right? However, as the saying goes, not all that glitters is gold. Ladies and gentlemen, making it sound big does not mean that it solves real-life problems. Nigeria has laws that are aimed at fighting gender-based violence. We have the criminal code, we have the penal code, and other state laws. Section 358 of the criminal code prescribes the punishment of rape to be life imprisonment. Section 359 of the criminal code prescribes the punishment for attempting to rape to be 14 years imprisonment. From these laws and punishments, it is clear that Nigeria does not lack laws. It does not lack laws. In fact, the laws are simple, they are straightforward, and in most cases, they are very severe. So what is now the problem? Enforcement. As serious as these laws may sound, they are just words on piece of paper if they are not implemented. But believe me, if they are implemented properly, we're not just going to be seeing changes. We're going to bring in about protection, destitution, and justice. What we need is not declaration of national emergency. What we need is to strengthen on what we already have. As the saying goes, you do not fix a leaking roof by building another house. You fix that roof and fix the system. Moving on to my second limb of argument. Today, Nigeria is facing different challenges. So our schools are underfunded. Even our hospitals lack the basic requirements. This is something that does not affect only few, but it affects millions, including you and I. Now, let's be realistic. Even without declaration of national emergency, from Sokoto to Zamfara, from Kaduna to Plateau State, which is the state that majority of our co-debaters are coming from, they are facing insecurity, banditry, and also communal issues. So now imagine us, imagine the country now shifting all of its national urgency, the national resources, and national attention to a single sector on one issue, declaring of national emergency on gender-based violence. What do you think is going to happen to the other sectors? The health, the education, the security system? What is going to be the fate of Nigerians? Ladies and gentlemen, we are not saying that gender-based violence is not important. It is. What we are saying is that the solution should not be declaration of emergency in this country. The solution is building on what we already have. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, talking about it is not doing it. You writing about it is not doing it. The only thing that matters in doing it is you doing it. Declaration of national emergency may feel or seems like a very big step in tackling gender-based violence. However, ladies and gentlemen, without serious implementation and without delving into the deeper issues, it is just going to be a show. So I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, is declaration of national emergency the real solution, or it is just a distraction to the real work we are meant to do? The panel of judges, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I remain my humble self, Bilkis Abubakar Shehu, from the prestigious University, Ahmed Bello University, Zaria.
Thank you very much, Ahmadu Bello University opposing side. You know, we actually were supposed to say this at Leap Africa NYFF. We're non-partisan. We do not take sides. You know, we try to remain advocates of, you know, everything good. And I did mention that I'm an Abusite. You know, I don't know. I need to uphold the values of non-partisanship, but you know, that was a very interesting motion. Glued to the speaker from start to finish. Another round of applause, please. What makes this very interesting is the fact that a woman is actually making these valid points about gender-based violence. That's very, very interesting. And I hope we have all taken points and notes. Inviting to the stage right now is the second speaker from Ahmadu Bello University, proposing side. 3 minutes. Your timer is right in front of you. All the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, panel of judges, my opponent asked us a question. She said, is the declaration of national emergency the real solution to solving gender-based violence? But I would like to clear something. The motion of today is the declaration of national emergency is justified in Nigeria's surge in gender-based violence. We are arguing on justification, not substitution or solution. So we're not here to talk about solution. We're here to defend national emergency. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, permit me to stand on existing protocols. My name is Rahama Myers Abdulmumini from Ahmadu Bello University. The second speaker for the proposing side of the motion that states that the declaration of national emergency is justified in Nigeria's surge in gender-based violence. So, I've already accepted that there is a surge in gender-based violence. It's not telling us that, oh, gender-based violence is just occurring. We are saying there is a surge. So it's increasing constantly. What does this mean? We need fast action. We don't need laws that failed us. My opponents also mentioned that we have laws. Yes, we have laws. But are they working? Even our states are taking these laws as mere suggestion. They're not taking it as their obligation. And this is what national emergency will do. It will give us sense of urgency. It will let us know that there is a problem and we need to solve it. And we need to stop making use of solutions that have proven several times that they are inadequate. And she talked about fire extinguishing when there is fire in your house. Now I want to tell you something. There is different level of fire. When your house is burning, you have tried pouring water. You have tried fire extinguishing. It's not working, which means the existing measures are what? They are inadequate. That is the situation we are right now in Nigeria. As we have are not working. So what do we say? We need to call the country to order. We need to call all the 36 states and the FCT to order and say, there is urgency. And how do we do this? How do we achieve this? We need to what? Declare national emergency. And we need to remember that what? It is justified. Thank you.
One house, please. I'm sure you understand why we have two teams from Ahmadu Bello University, really. Thank you very much. So we're inviting on the stage the second speaker from the opposing side for a 3-minute argument.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us set this clear. We are not against ending gender-based violence. We are only against the unnecessary declaration of national emergency in order to stop gender-based violence. Panel of judges, timekeeper, invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ibrahim Aliu from the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and I stand humbly before you to strongly, tactically, and logically present my argument, to oppose the motion that says the declaration of national emergency is justified in response to Nigeria's surge in gender-based violence. Firstly, I would like to make these points clear. May I call the attention of the second speaker from the supporting side to know that there was national emergency in 2020? Ladies and gentlemen, I have 2 points to support my argument. First, ineffectiveness of national emergency. Second, failure of national emergency to address the root causes of the problem. Firstly, ineffectiveness. According to Vanguard News, in June 2020, Nigeria Governors Forum declared national emergency against gender-based violence during the COVID-19 lockdown. And also, an interministerial committee was set up and tasked with the responsibility of providing solutions to ending gender-based violence. However, this committee sat only twice. I mean, 2 times. Very sad. According to a report by Premium Times in 2021, a coalition of non-governmental organizations, including Yaga Africa, Tech ING, and Connected Development, they registered their dissatisfaction about the failure to prosecute perpetrators of gender-based violence. This was just a year after declaring national emergency. According to the Guardian newspaper earlier this year, According to the Guardian newspaper earlier this year, there was a 240% increase in gender-based violence in January of this year compared to January of last year. What does this mean? The national emergency of 2020 was not able to stop gender-based violence? Moving to my second point of the argument, failure to focus on the root causes of the problem. Ladies and gentlemen, when you see a child, ask and you'll find their parent. When water flows, trace it and you'll find where it all starts. According to the Alliance for International Medical Action, insurgency or insecurity fosters gender-based violence. Now, just think of the Chibok girls that were abducted, raped, and forced into forceful marriages. Just think of the many similar cases that we have due to banditry. According to Amnesty International, IDP camps are places where we have high cases of gender-based violence. What caused people to be in IDP camps? Insecurity. Imagine a teenage girl hawking in the street late in the evening. On her way home, she was assaulted, sexually harassed, and raped, and left in the pool of her blood. What caused it? Poverty, because her parents cannot afford her schooling. Ladies and gentlemen, economic hardship and insecurity are factors that are affecting our country. And now, let me just conclude. The conclusion to this is that the solution is not just a mere declaration of national emergency. The solution to ending gender-based violence is focusing on long-term solutions that address the root cause of this problem and not just a mere declaration of national emergency. Thank you so much.
Great Nigeria students. We're at the last lap of this debate, so please let's motivate the speaker. 1 minute for your final arguments. Proposing side.
Thank you. Panel of judges, ladies and gentlemen. When I came here the first time, I said I define national emergency as according to our constitution, which justifies every law that we have in Nigeria. And the constitution says anything that is a threat to our existence, anything that is a threat to public safety is a national emergency. I've proven that to you. We mentioned figures upon figures. Even the second speaker from the opposing side came here and told you about numbers of people who have been abused, the ones in IDB camps. So I don't really need to make my case on that. They've already proven that for us. So I'll go ahead and tell us. You are a father, you see your children fighting. And instead of you to tell your children to stop fighting because it's your responsibility to do that, you let them fight. The opposition is telling us that we should continue doing the old things that have not worked for us. We need to declare a national emergency now and end this havoc that is eating us from inside. Thank you.
Final speaker from Ahmadu Bello University, proposing side.
The panel of judges, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again. Ladies and gentlemen, the saying goes like this: mistake is not a mistake, but repeating mistake is a great mistake. My opponents keep mentioning that we should declare national emergency, but have they told us that a national emergency was declared on gender-based violence before? No, they didn't. However, this is very clear that it was declared. And he also mentioned that there was a high rate between 2020 and 2025. Do you know that the emergency was declared in that same 2020? So what has been the solution? What can we say now about it? Secondly, the second speaker mentioned that we are not here to be bringing about solutions, but you here have already had the judge saying that what we need is not just for us to be saying the problems, we need to be talking about the solutions. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ahmadu Bello University. We have come to the end of this debate competition. And at this point, we'll give our judges some time to compute the results before the final announcements. But while we're doing that, we'll just take a few goodwill messages, and then we'll have a spoken word artist come on stage for entertainment before we announce the results. So calling onto the stage now is the representative of Women Affairs to come forward for a goodwill message. Thank you very much. You're most welcome, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. Distinguished guests, organizers from LEAP Africa, university authorities, debaters and participants, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon once again. It's an honor for me to stand before you to represent the Honorable Commissioner who is presently on another engagement in person of Honorable Zainab Babantako. The Honorable Commissioner is always having the youth at heart. As you can hear the name of the ministry say, Ministry for Women Affairs and Child Development. We commend LEAP Africa partners for this laudable initiative, the Youth Leadership Debate Competition under the Nigerian Youth Future Fund. By engaging young Nigerians in policy dialogue, leadership trainings, and civic engagement, you are shaping a generation that is bold, thoughtful, and ready to lead. As we all know, that the youth are the backbone of a nation. If we had this opportunity when we were much, much younger, maybe we would have been somewhere by now. But thank God that you people are having the privilege to be carried along for building leadership building. At this ministry, we are particularly profound of platforms like this that amplify youth voices and provide peace for both young men and women to contribute meaningfully to nation building. It's aligned with our mission to promote inclusive development and gender equity in all spheres of life. You can bear me witness that women are somehow left behind in leadership and decision making. But come 2027, I believe we are going to see the women much represented in the House of Reps, in every sphere of the politics. Isn't it? We celebrate the participants and urge you to keep raising your voices for positive change. Your passion and ideas are the foundation for a stronger and more inclusive Nigeria. Thank you, and thank you all. Long live Africa, long live Nigeria, and long live Bauchi State. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ma, for that wonderful goodwill message. Next in line for our goodwill messages is the representative of UNFPA, Ms. Deborah Tabara. Please come on stage for your goodwill remark. A round of applause for UNFPA, please.
Good afternoon. The Vice Chancellor, ably represented by the Dean of Student Affairs, representative of the Ministry of Education, representative of the Ministry of Women Affairs, the Executive Chairperson, Agency for Persons Living with Disability, BASNEC Chairman, National Orientation Agency present here, the organizers of this event, LEAP Africa, the students of ATBU, who are the hosts, and also the participating universities. from the northwest, right? Yes, North Central. The media personnel, please permit me to stand on any other established protocol that I have missed out. I humbly apologize for that. Thank you for having UNFPA invited to this event. I want to thank the students of ATBU. They followed up with me, even to the road. They stopped me on the car. So thank you very much. The United Nations Populations Fund is the UN agency for reproductive health. Our mission is to ensure all pregnancy is wanted, every childbirth is safe, and all young persons achieve their potentials. It's part of the reasons why I honored this invitation. We've been working with the Bauchi state government for some years now, and we work with quite a number of stakeholders that I see on the high table and in this room. And I want to thank you all, the key stakeholders, for supporting the students. If you're not here, the ginger will not be hyped. So thank you very much. For UNFPA, this is very important. Part of our key mandate is to ensure that there is zero gender-based violence. And we work with multi-stakeholders. I see Princess, well done. Yeah, we work with multi-stakeholders from policy and formulation to law, ensuring that laws that are inclusive, to capacity building for service provision, to awareness creation, and also addressing social norms, and also to data generation. If we do not have data, you can hear our speakers quote various data. If we do not have data of the systems that have been put in place and how far, what has changed, we will not be able to make this debate. So data is important. And I want to make a point. I was whispering with the Dean, Student Affairs, that we have so much information in this room. And many times we work on policy documents. Currently, we're working on the Bauchi State Youth Policy. And there are also other policy initiatives, policy for health, reproductive health, for young persons. They are quite innovative, and also we have the gender policy. Now, if we have this wealth of knowledge in the room, please, students, let this not be another opportunity or another occasion that you gathered and heard people talk and walk away. My jotter is already full with ideas. Please take down notes so that if you have opportunities to be on the policy formulation table, you will be able to provide these arguments and make a policy that suits our context. I want to thank you again, the organizers of this program, for having us in this occasion. I have identified areas that we could work with the university, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to get the right mobilization to put systems in place. Thank you, Rex. Thank you to your team.
Another round of applause, please, for Ms. Deborah Tabara. Thank you so much for all that you do at UNFPA in Bauchi State and in Nigeria. So next, I'll be inviting my colleague, Ms. Ijoma Kalu, to come on stage and say a few words in the room. I'm sure you're wondering how you can be part of this program next year. So Ms. Ijoma has that information. Thank you.
Great Nigerian students, this is an opportunity to speak to you. While our judges are compiling the results, I'm sure some of you are wondering, how can I be part of this electrifying conversation going on here? I'd like to tell you that the debate is under the Youth Leadership Development Program, and there are two pathways on the Youth Leadership Development Program. First, we have the Community Change Project pathway, which is a pathway that, if you were here earlier, Ms. Jane spoke to, and also Ambassador Rex was also part of the Community Change Project pathway, where you can design change projects. You can look in your community. Okay, maybe there is a community, or your community is lacking a social need. You can begin to think with your team, how can we solve this problem? And Leap Africa, through the NYFF, is happy to support your team with some money, and also not just money, but we're also going to support you with experts who can give you the right guidance to make that change come to pass. Please, if you think this is nice, I want you to give a round of applause for YLDP. Thank you so much. And then we have the pathway, the community advocacy pathway, which is the debates. So you're not just debating. I need you to understand this. These people are not just here to debate. I receive some money to support them to do a project in their community. And in this case, they have to speak for the people who do not have a voice. So they are going to be advocates, not just going to just do one small change project. They have to do an advocacy campaign with 20% of their winnings. And what we want to tell you with Leap Africa is that we're not just giving you money. We are giving you the support that is needed, the expert support. So here it is. When you sign into the program, the YLDP program is a program. In the first 6 weeks, you are taking online courses where you are going through the basics of leadership, right? How to be a good leader, how to work in a team, how to spot problems and how to solve them. After these 6 weeks of training online, you are also going to have, this training, of course, online is already curated by experts themselves. But then you will also have an opportunity to online through Zoom meetings, right? You can ask questions and they will respond to you in between these 6 weeks training. And then after the 6 weeks, we task you to get into teams, divide yourselves to find the project that you would want to do if you decide to be on the community change project. And if you decide to be on the debate, you are also paired in a team and then you begin to prepare. Now for the debaters, after this regional round, before they go on to the semi-final rounds, because remember, we are getting towards the national rounds where you are even engaging a bigger audience, we will still give support for experts in debating skills to coach them for the next 3 weeks before the semi-final. So after the regional quarterfinals as we have here, they will begin expert coaching to support them for the semi-finals and the final rounds. So you are not just receiving money, or you're not just struggling for money, you are struggling also for learning. So even if these people do not go out of this place with some money, they are going out with a big bank of knowledge and network as well. Because remember, before you can do a project, you have to always look for how to engage people. Oh, who are my project stakeholders? Whose life am I changing? Who can support me? Leap Africa is giving you that network of support that is needed. So please be on the lookout. Usually the Youth Leadership Development Program starts out in February every year. We put out a call for application, and then we accept applications from all tertiary institution students, polytechnics, monotechnics, colleges of education, all colleges, including universities, public and private. So please feel free. In the meantime, I would like you, if you have your Facebook or your Instagram, wherever you get your social media.
Please make welcome with a huge round of applause a spoken word artist who will be speaking for the next 5 minutes to entertain us. A round of applause, please.
The Nigeria we want. You see, they said leadership is service, but our leaders serve themselves and leave us with the bill. Nigeria is a burning house, and the people that hold the water are selling it in gallons. You see, the economy is in ICU, but our leaders, the politicians, are going to ceremonies wearing agbada. Look, our roads are potholes in disguise. Our hospitals are mortuaries with receipt. Our educational system teaches endurance, not enlightenment. And let's not talk about governance, because governance is nothing but a Netflix show. Different seasons, same script, loot, lie, repeat, and our currency is falling, but our leaders are flying. See, food is now a luxury. What about fuel? It's another story. But you see, even at that, our governors still commission street lights on roads that lead to nowhere. and you wonder, what is the problem? How did we get here? The truth is, the system is not broken. It is built this way, to serve the few and fry the rest of us slowly. But let's talk about us. Yes, the rest of us. The people, the masses, the ones who keep shouting change while collecting 1,000 naira to vote for the same change. We scream and criticize corruption until it's your uncle that is in office. Only if it doesn't offend your tribe. We tweet revolutions but hide the truth when it's time to take change. We say we want justice. Let God punish them, but we worship the same people that ruined our lives only because they spread money at your cousin's wedding or built some substandard borehole in your community. We say we want a new Nigeria, but we still live as though the old Nigeria ain't free in our conscience. My excuses, my fingers that keep scrolling but never take action, because a country will never change. It will never change if the citizens remain the same. So the Nigeria we want is not a Nigeria where the children are on the street begging and childhood is traded for survival. It is not a place where brilliance, where convocation gowns only to be greeted with unemployment. We are not looking for a Nigeria where the rich buys justice in briefcases and the poor are left to rent fear like a second skin. The Nigeria we want is a Nigeria where the leaders fear the people, where the people are more stronger than the leaders. We do not fear them because there is something worth more to fear, and that is losing us. A Nigeria that treats the less privileged as equals, not burdens. A Nigeria that raises citizens, not survivors. And yes, it is possible. The truth is, the economy, the system is drowning. But here is it. There is no one that is able to cross a floating river alone. So you want unity, you must realize that there is no unity there is no peace without people. There is no change without choice. There is no future without fight. So yes, speak up. Speak for the truth. Call out the thieves. Name the loot, if possible, but make sure you ask your reflection these questions too. What am I using my voice? What am I using my voice for? What am I using my votes for? What am I using my value for? Because the Nigeria we want is not a mirror. And the change we are looking for, the change we are crying for, it must echo in our character. So speak for the truth. Not just to power, not just to authority, not just to government, but to yourself. And maybe we will finally have the Nigeria, because the Nigeria we want starts with me, it starts with you, and it starts with all of us. Thank you.
Great Nigeria students. Are we ready for the results? Okay, so you know at the beginning there was a quiz. We were asked to predict who was going to be the winner. I hope we still remember that. So whoever predicted right is going to go home with something. But in the meantime, I think I'll just take some chance from the Aluta from the Students' Union group, just to keep us engaged while we wait for the results. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Please, we have a lost but found item, so check your pockets, check if you dropped something. And if you think you have dropped something, you can come forward for identification. Just for context, we have a missing 1,000 naira notes. So if it's yours, you come forward and tell us the serial number, the color, whether it's a new one or an old note, and a lot of details, before we give it to you. So our results are ready, and our panel of incorruptible judges are itching to give us the results. So I'll yield the floor to Ms. Gambo Wakili, who is chairing the judges, to come forward and give us the result and announce the results. Thank you very much for having us. I have enjoyed anchoring this debates competition. I look forward to being in Ahmadu Bello, I'm an Abusite, really, in Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University another time for another engagement. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Barrister Gambo Yakubu Wakili, and I'm here to announce the results. Can we bring the tension down? The house is literally hot. Are we ready? Please, I'd like to ask the participants to all be on their feet. All right, thank you very much, sir. That was helpful. All right, please, can we put our hands together for every participant? And I want you guys to leave this hall knowing that we're proud of you, that your work is valuable, and that your arguments are real, and that beyond this competition, you're ambassadors of the Nigeria we want. I have been on this project of the Nigeria we want for, I think, since 2023. Yeah, and 22 rather, and till date. And in fact, we are doing a project and we're very happy to have everybody involved also. So please put your hands together again for them. So I'm going to take it round after round. You can sit. Round one, we had KASU, that's Kaduna State University, with a cumulative point of 28.6. We had the second party at Al-Qalam University with 36.3 points. For the second round, we had Udus with 34.3 points. And we have BUK with 35 points. Round three, UMYU is Umaru Musa Eradua University with 31 points, and the ATBU, the host university, with 29 points. Round four. We remember that round four all came from Ahmadu Bello University, and we have the Youth Frontiers and we have the Civic Voices as the two teams representing Ahmadu Bello University on the competition. And the Youth Frontier have 37 points, while the Civic Voices have 30. So now, the first or the top position, it goes to the Youth Frontiers. Is it Youth Frontiers or Youth Front? Youth Front, yeah? Frontiers. Thank you. So the first position goes to the Youth Frontiers. Please put your hands together for them. Was that easy? Congratulations. And then the second position goes to Al-Qalam University. The third position goes to BUK with 35 points. So we
a bedrock of technology, where excellence is known in unity of purpose by ATBU, committed to academic excellence, leadership and freedom, equal opportunity and respect for diversity. We are research leaders, producing graduates who are worthy in character and learning. On the way to excellence, you stand as a sure guide for quality and greatness. Abubakar Tafa Balewa University, my ATBU.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Please, would like to invite the representative of the Vice Chancellor in person of Professor S.Y. Umar, Dean Student Affairs, to come up on stage for a vote of thanks and also take a picture with all the debaters. Thank you very much, sir, for hosting us in Bauchi. We're very grateful. Huge round of applause for our daddy, please. Great Nigeria students. Please, let's motivate Prof to come on stage.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Of the greatest Nigerian students, of the greatest Balewites, of the greatest Abusites. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not happy, but I'm happy. You know why? I am representing the Vice Chancellor of ATBU Bauchi. But you know, I will never forget ABU because my second degree in civil engineering was from ABU. So for me, ATBU and ABU are all the same. So I'm happy for ABU for emerging the winners of this debate. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to express the appreciation of the university to all of you, particularly our invited guests who took their time to be with us throughout this event. I want to pray to Almighty God to grant is correct and they are quite impartial. I want to congratulate you for this achievement. Now to the debaters. See, we need to exhibit spirit of sportsmanship. Don't be angry because you are not the winner today. One day you will find yourself winning, but what you need to do is to go back to the drawing board and equip yourself so that when you have such an opportunity, you will be able to perform better. All the participants have done excellently well, and I'd like to congratulate all of you. On a final note, I wish to thank each and every one of you, and may Almighty God bless all of us. Thank you very much.
Take photos with you. Debate.
With one voice, we're a nation undivided and poised. We will take us down and build our land in faith to defend what is ours. Here we are as a people with one heart for one cause. We're determined to rebuild and restore. Where freedom reigns and truth prevails. Our land where there's hope for us all. Our land where there's hope for us all. We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there. We'll defend our land. We believe in Nigeria and the promise she holds, and that one day we'll shine like the sun. We're a great nation.
Thank you very much. Please, we would like to invite all members of the high table to come up the stage. Oh, sorry.
We're united in our strength and resolve to uphold the honor of our land and for generations to come. And for generations to come.
All debaters should come up.
We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation. We'll get there. We'll defend our land. We believe.
Engineers, our photographers, and everyone that supported us behind the scene. This couldn't have been possible without their support. So please, a huge round of applause to them. Students, let's clap for our sound engineers, our videographers, photographers, and everyone behind the scene. Thank you very much.
Though we are many people, different tribes, different tongues, we're united in our strength and resolve to uphold nations to come and for generations to come. We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there. We'll defend our land. We believe in Nigeria and the promise she holds, and that one day we'll shine like the sun. We're a great nation.
Greatest Nigerian student. Greatest Nigerian student. We're rounding up already, but before we close, I would like to invite on stage the patron of the ATBU Debating Society to give us a goodwill message before we wrap this up. In 5 minutes, I want to crave your indulgence to please hold on. Can everybody please sit down? In 5 minutes, you will all be out of here, please. You know you can't walk out while the dean is still in the auditorium. Thank you.
Greatest Nigerian student. Greatest Nigerian student. I want to appreciate every one of us that are in attendance. And I want to congratulate all the participants. Just as my dean have said, we want every one of us to understand that we are all winners, because we are all here to let everyone knows about a particular thing. That is, everyone should know that we are here to learn our voice, to let people understand that Nigeria we want can definitely be achieved. To every one of us here, I would want us to try as much as possible to emulate the participants. They are not exceptional. You can also do that. What you need is to be courageous. What you need is to be committed to what you feel you want to achieve. And by this, I believe we will definitely achieve what we want to achieve. And I would want to implore us, just as one of the members said earlier, that the LEAP Africa or the Youth Development, Youth Leadership Development Program used to be out by February. I would want most of us to key into this. Just as I was telling the president, the SUJ president, that one of the major challenges is that a lot of people don't actually key into this. We have a lot of people that are as good as the participants we have here. But unfortunately, they don't really take it serious. They don't know that their voices also matters. They feel it's just fun. However, this is so impactful. So I want every one of us to try as much as possible to key into the next one that will be coming next February. I wish us safe journey to our various destinations. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. And as we bring this round, this quarterfinal round to a close, I want to specially appreciate the management institution for your support. Please, can you put your hands together for them? And I want to especially appreciate all members of the high table for coming from the beginning and relaxing and sitting back throughout this process. We really appreciate you. On behalf of the entire board and management of LEAP Africa, we want to say a very big thank you. And at this point, before I call it a close, I want to especially appreciate the campus ambassadors, and I want to highlight Rex and his team. Please, can you put your hands together for Rex? Please, you can do better than that. All right. So as we've mentioned, please stay close to our social media platform so that you know which of the top groups today is making it to the finals. Because the winners today, it is not decided that they are making it to the next round. When we do the other quarterfinals, it is the points that determine who moves to the next round. So thank you very much. We will hold on, allow the members of the high table take their leave, and then we'll leave. Thank you very much, sir.
Bring it on, bring it on. You, bring it on.
Life know the sweet though, hey. If some people know the hate too, so use the number 6 and calculate. You go see the ratio.